Hello and welcome to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. We're having a look at the North American region here for the fall split of 2019. My name is Brainstorm. I am joined by Smash, a new region for us. Second day of games. Having a look at Group C and D today.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day of games too. We've got some big teams up in here. We've got the Pittsburgh Knights, and we've got what used to be Lights Out. Now they're Team Tribe. We've also got Method in the mixture, as you mentioned. So there's lots of big teams to watch today, and I'm really interested to see how the Pittsburgh Knights bounce back.
And as always, it's going to be fun as we're switching regions again, and just have a look at how the meta changes, as we have seen subtle differences in the different regions that we've been watching. We've done a Wildcard for a couple of nights, and tends to be some very early aggression in the games there. And then we have a look at South America in the mornings, and they were much slower. I think it was our first South American game. We had 13 minutes until the first knock, and they were a lot slower. So we'll see if NA has anything different for us. Something fun to check out. Yeah,
South America had a lot of clutch potential too, with one of their players getting multiple chicken dinners from a one-man stand. NA, I'm expecting some big things out of NA. They always talk the talk. They always talk themselves up as being one of the best regions of esports in the world. So I'm expecting some big things out of NA today.
Calling out the North American region, mate. That's bold.
Yeah, it's bold, but I don't think they're up for it.
That's the thing, yeah. I reckon they can deliver.
Up for it.
I think they can do
especially these teams that we have today. We have some really good ones. Some teams that play second, third last season in the qualifiers in spring. So I'm excited to see them.
Good. I mean, that's what I was hoping. That's what we're here for. Now, before we started the games, you were busy doing a little bit of research. Do you have any spicy facts you can share?
No, I mean, we had the spring roster shuffle, which was a bit interesting. I've got some notes here. We've got
hit me with
so
it.
we had PK changing. They changed rosters. They changed 2 members out after a decent performance. They got 3rd in the spring split, which is quite nice. And we have Lights Out. We were playing last season, I should say, and now they've moved to Team Tribe, I believe it, Tribe Esports. So I can't wait to see if they're keeping consistent with that. And we've got some new faces as well. We've got Cloud9 back in. They obviously were playing yesterday in Group A and B. But if you want a chance to play with some of those players like that, you need to download PUBG. And where can you get that from?
PUBG Mobile is available on the Google Play Store and the iOS App Store, and on your mobile device, whichever one you have, whether it's iOS or Android. If you have a Windows phone, I'm lucky. But iOS and Android, PUBG Mobile is available on both. And of course, while you're there on your mobile, you can go to the YouTube app. If you're watching the stream on your phone or on a computer, whatever you might be doing on YouTube, you can subscribe to the PUBG Mobile Esports channel to make sure you stay up to date with everything, not just the North American region of PMCO 2019, but all the regions of PMCO 2019.
There's a lot of fantastic action across all the regions, so make sure you do stay tuned to that, because if you're missing anything, you can go back, watch the VOD, because it's definitely worth it. And this is how the teams are playing out. We start off with 24 matches, 32 teams, 4 groups, and from there we go down. We drop 8 teams going into the semifinals, 24 matches. 8, 16, 24 teams there as well. And from there we drop another 8. We go down to the top 16, and they'll only have 10 matches to prove themselves and make their claim for that title.
Only 10 matches, so the pressure will build up as we go. Still early days yet, so the second day of the North American region here, but here's our point system. This is how it works for these teams inside the games to gain themselves the points they need to get out of that top 8. 20 points for a chicken dinner, 14 for second, 10 for third, and going down from there with 1 point for every single kill that you gain. I think the record, I'm not sure about the overall PMCO 2019, but the record for games that we've casted is still sitting with the very first game that we saw, which was 37 point, I believe, 17 kill chicken dinner. Either way, having a look at Group C and Group D now, pardon me. Tribe are there, that's one of the teams you were talking about. Any other standouts for you?
I want to see how Method do. Last season they had a very poor showing in the spring split. They came out in 14th. They have made 2 changes. They added Monarch from the former Pittsburgh Knights roster. I'm looking to them to, come out strong in this first day of games and show that they've made the right decisions over the off-season, and see if they've got some teamwork and chemistry going on. Other rosters we've got going in are interesting to see how the Wildcard card guys go. They had Extreme last season, an Australian player, and they've unfortunately parted ways with him, so they've replaced him. So there's lots of roster shuffles going on. I want to see where the dust settles, though. Who's going to come out on top?
That's something we can only really find out by jumping into our games, which we will be doing shortly. 4 games coming up for you this evening. We're staring down the barrel of the first one. We've got Erangel, Sanhok, Miramar, and Erangel, I believe, are our 4 games for the day. So the same map order that we've had for the previous day of North America and for the first 2 days of all of the regions, as all regions have the same map rotation that we change out every 2 days so that everyone gets to see exactly what's going on there.
And there's no surprise that Cloud9 roster is sitting pretty on top of the pops at the moment. They had a poor spring split as well under the banner of Method. They got rid of 1 player in Xenoth and added Beowulf, and he's been a star player so far for them.
Certainly has been, so I'm not surprised to see them sitting up top with 2 chicken dinners out of the 4 games that were played yesterday in A and B. We're not watching those games, we're busy. We would have been asleep at that point, I think.
I think we were asleep at that time.
Just finishing up our previous region, whichever one it was. But it's fun to be jumping into North America today and seeing exactly how it's all going to play out. So map rotation will be changing up as we head through the day. But now, another quick look at the leaderboard. As we said, Cloud9, 94 points in a day. That's a record.
A lot of points. That is certainly a lot of points. One of the ones that you didn't expect to see so low, Space Station Gaming getting off to a bit of a rough start, sitting in 5th place. You would have expected a little bit more from them on day 1. Tempo Storm sitting in 3rd. They'll be happy with that. Not thrilled, but they managed to get themselves a chicken dinner. So there's a lot of competition at the top there. A 70 point, an 80 point, 94. They're way ahead of 4th place and under.
That's a huge gap.
You can see the consistency there from those 3 teams. Infinex Gaming as well, getting right up there. They're just behind on placement points. They got 34 kills, so they were fragging out all day.
So were Cloud9, 34 frags for both, just much more, or many more placement points for Cloud9. So that's what, if they've got 40 points from 2 chicken dinners, that's 2 firsts, 2/3 then to get the remaining 20.
Yeah, it must have been 2.
So 1-1-3-3 is very good for Cloud9.
Certainly is. As you see, some of the teams that didn't quite make the cut on day 1, they had a bit of a rough day. Still some decent points going up there. No donuts in the kill column. Well, you can't really get a donut in the placement column, but no donuts in the kill column, which is good to see. Like to see the teams being competitive and fragging out together.
And no 1-pointers in the placement column either. And 1 is as close as you can get to a 0. That's an 11th to 16th place. So that means that nobody's been consistently going out in the last 5 teams. And if it was just last place only awarded 1 point, then it really would suck to see, teams with only 1 point or 4 points after 4 games. Yeah. But it's bottom 5 that only give you that 1 point. So you've got to actually get a decent way into the game to avoid that. Either way, having a look at our kill leaders, unsurprisingly, it's the teams who are up top. Tempo Storm, Infinex, and C9 represented in the top 5. And AVX, I believe, they were in 4th or 5th place.
Yeah, they were still up there.
One of their players being up there as 3rd in the kill lead is pretty impressive for them.
Yeah, he would have had a majority of the kills from his squad too with 9. So that's impressive. Simple, up there. X-Beck. These are some names that you expect to see up at the top of the pops at the moment. But it could all change today. Maybe there's going to be a top fragger coming our way.
Exactly that, because this is the first time that we've seen Groups T and D. If you have missed the format or you're only just sort of tuning into PMCO 2019 for the first time, 4 groups per region, 8 teams in each. And we alternate as we go through. So A plays B, which we did yesterday, C plays D, which is today, and from there we start to mix it up. So the next games at NA will be ABC, then BVD, and so on like that. All teams will play 18 games out of the first 24 of the group stage, and then we'll eliminate the bottom 8. So a lot of mix-ups yet to be seen. For today, though, for us, this is new games, new teams. We haven't seen these guys yet in PMCO 2019. This is the first time that they will be appearing on stream. Erangel is the first game that we are jumping into. Sanhok, Miramar, and another Erangel to follow. And then once we hit tomorrow, we will start swapping out the maps as well. We always have 2 Erangels. As far as I'm aware, 1 and 4 will always be Erangel, and then the 2 maps in the middle will swap out between Sanhok, Vikendi, and Miramar.
And I'm interested to see Vikendi maybe tomorrow. It's going to be exciting for me to watch. I like that map a lot, actually. I think the sniper rifle play on it is quite fun, as well as some of the ending zones, especially in the mountain. If you get up in the mountains in your ending zone, there's so much tension always in there. But it is going to be Erangel, a map that the players are very familiar with, as it has been the original map since launch. It looks good too. A lot of the teams here will already have predetermined drop zones or ideas of where they want to go. A lot of experience on the map. As we see the plane path coming through now, it is a north to south plane path. It's pretty straight, only a little deviation to the west. What plane will we choose to roll out on, though? It's a big gold one.
Let's rock on it. So
let's rock. Well, let's rock then.
Let's rock. We're rocking. Pretty, goodness me, pretty friendly plane line for everyone. The extremities of the map maybe not as available, but majority of big loot places are still in the game. We've seen a lot of action around Pachinki the last couple of days, and that is right next to that plane line, so that'll be easily accessible. Gatka as well, Mil to Power, you can make it around to all of these places. And of course, finishing over the military base as well. Now, in previous games of Erangel, we've really only seen pretty much 1 team, maybe 2, end up on the military island at the start. And that's really because we haven't had that many planes go directly over the island just yet. But it's not really been a big destination. There's only been a couple of teams who've chosen to go for that military base and then end up rotating in late after the circle. Invariably doesn't go there. Despite
the sheer plethora of loot that is available on the military base, having a major city in Novo and the military base itself, teams do choose to stay away from it just because of the risk involved of rotating away from it. Sometimes you have to choose a boat to rotate, which can be risky itself, because wherever you're landing, you can get sprayed in. You're pretty defenseless in that boat. Sofnovska military base. Not always the choice to go, but it does look like GRUNTo are choosing to go down towards Novo. So they're risking it for the biscuit at the start of the day.
Looks like we got 3 teams. Okay, so one of those BY boys didn't jump out of the plane with his team, and looks like he got forced out above the military base.
Yeah, that's the Blood and Loyalty guy, so he might be struggling a little bit. He's been forced out of the plane, but it is a circle pop on military base, well, primarily on military base. It's a very southern one. So that's an interesting way to start our first day of North American qualifiers together, the second day in total. See some teams just spreading out and looting at the moment. Looks like there's no immediate early action. It's like able to be spotted. There are a lot of teams going around Pachinki, but they are rotating away towards Gatka and towards farm area. Milta also will be in play for these teams.
The B2W guys currently occupy the top of the map up around the shooting range. They're going to have a lot of time to loot, a lot of, I suppose, area to loot in, as nobody else is up there, but the circle is very southern. They're going to need to get going.
And going in, it's GRUNTo getting knocked down actually by the side. Yeah, this is interesting gameplay here. Unnamed getting a first knock and first kill onto the team of GRUNTo. GRUNTo obviously went for Novo, but team unnamed, sorry, they went for it.
That's the problem with the side cart.
Yeah, you don't want to be in one of those side carts. They are rough stuff.
Luckily, no real damage taken from that spill out of the side cart. Pretty happy to get away with that one.
So we do have 3 teams on the military island, on Sosnovka, or Sosnova. That is very rare, actually, to see 3 teams down there. So maybe some miscommunication on who's going where, as we see more knocks coming through. Some early game action from out of the North American region. I thought it was going to be very testy in the early days, as we see confirms might be coming out here as the res tries to come in.
Only just managed to get that res in time. 2 teams on top of this one little compound here. It's going to be pretty difficult for them. There's a lot of vehicles around. They can get in and out as they choose, but it's all going to depend on how this engagement goes. And GG, or G6 I should say, have found themselves on a flank with a nade going straight in. And a deal. That is the guy who got forced out of the plane and he's drowned, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's fallen by the wayside. But this is that team of Granja getting into the mix early on. Early days, he will be able to get the revive in the smoke. They didn't finish this knock and they might get punished for it. As he does knock another player, but he's pushed around the corner, and that's Granja cleaning up a few kills at the moment.
Yeah, HQA, those boys losing several players now. Got one more by the looks of things coming in late, but they've lost multiple players inside or around this compound here, so...
So we already see a few teams wounded, walking wounded. So those teams are going to have to play a bit more passive going into the early and the late games.
Yeah, these guys here, this HQA team, have lost 2 players already. 1 confirmed, 1 down and bleeding out. Shortly to be confirmed. There he goes. So that's only 2 players for them already, very early on indeed. 4.5 minutes down and already at half strength here for these boys.
They're going to be hitting the panic button and just trying to find late rotations into the circle to get as many placement points as possible. Maybe get some third-party action towards the later stages of the game, but when you are starting off as 2-man very early, it can be very difficult. So they'll be hitting the emergency reset button, trying to get out of there on those buggies, which are very hard to flip, by the way, so they should be pretty safe on this. They're unlike the sidecar, which is incredibly easy to flip. Needs some balancing around that, I think. Remove it from the game, in fact. Get it out of here.
What we need is more Vespers. We need more Vesper backflips like we had yesterday.
We did have the Vesper backflip, as we see Pachinki being pretty open, actually. Only one team has made themselves in Pachinki, and that was a team of, I think it was the Blood. Loyalty. Yeah, Blood and Loyalty.
Who are also down a player, unfortunately, for them.
Yep, so
3 men off the start.
But they did get arguably one of the best loot zones in the map to compensate for themselves, and they got it uncontested as well, which is something that we haven't seen so far in this tournament. We've seen a lot of contesting in Pachinki. Teams don't want to give it up. So these guys should be looted out of their mind going into the mid-game. Despite having 3 players, you can still make it work with 3 players. When it gets down to 2, it gets a bit more tricky, but having 3 up, yeah, it's not ideal, obviously, but still can make it work. More action, and see a spin out in the buggy. They're going for some shots on the passenger seat. That can be very difficult to hit as the driver spins around in circles. They're actually looking like they were going to go for a little chase as they've ejected one man out.
I think they've spotted... if it was one vehicle, it looks like they wanted to pursue, but now they know there's multiple, and
yeah,
they've reconsidered that.
So they swap it and they get into some more vehicles. UAS picked
The
up.
opposite direction.
Now this is easy to roll, these cars. Deceptively easy to roll. They're like, look at it, it's like a big box. You get on the side, you're not flipping it back up, that's for sure.
That's where you need like the Halo system. If you just flip the car with 1,000,000 kilometers an hour.
Oh yeah.
If you flip a Warthog, you just walk up to it and just whoosh. That was a good time. Anyway, the Wildcard boys rotating on with the 3 buggies.
Yep, they'll be safe and sound in those buggies, moving around the map. So all the action we had from the early game has kind of subsided as teams try and rotate south towards the military island. There is a lot of teams now finding themselves here as we move towards the southern coast.
PK guys going for a very long water rotation must have found themselves a boat there on the southern side of or the southwestern side of the map as they're rotating around the bottom of the military island.
Looks like they're trying to breach the beach on the southern side. There is no team there currently as both the bridges seem unmanned at the moment. There is one team on the western side bridge, but the eastern side bridge seems to be pretty open as 2 teams funnel in towards there. As we see Team Tribe, one of our teams to watch. They are just checking the bridge, making sure they're not getting camped, refueling the vehicle as well. Not something you see every day, but sometimes you need to do a pit stop for a bit of petrol. And that one was a quick one. Must have been a Ferrari pit stop, that.
I saw, reminds me a couple of weeks ago I think it was one of, I can't remember who the team was. There was one team in Formula 1 who broke the record for a pit stop with like sub 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was Red Bull, I believe.
It was ridiculously fast. Oh!
That's one way to exit the bridge.
We're fine. Never mind. This could have been a little bit concerning there, just yeeting a car off the side of the bridge, but never mind. We're all good for Team Tribe. Moving on out, getting that rotation happening, and we now have
more
just
knocks.
about only one team. TT are the only team now who are not inside the zone. The rest of the lobby have made it inside the circle successfully.
So GRUNTo getting a player knocked down, and it looks like it might be finished off. They are finished off by the fist, and that means GRUNTo are down to only 2 players. Again, they're going to be playing late, playing for the circle, playing for those third-party engagements, as taking a 4v2 is quite risky, quite unlikely that you win those. As more shots roll out as teams do try and rotate onto this island and find themselves any sort of real estate. At the moment, as the circle starts to close in, there's no teams or not many teams stuck in that blue zone trying to rotate late.
Actually none, but it looks like those TT boys have just about made it in. From where they are now, though, they will need to find a boat, or else they'll have to go all the way over to the eastern bridge. But given that they are right on the edge of the water, it does look like they're trying to find the boat. Meanwhile, Wildcard are getting themselves a knock and a confirm onto HQA. There's another one.
This is the HQA guys. They're struggling at the moment. They're feeling the pain as Wildcard heaps it on. It's 2 kills now for them on the side of Wildcard.
Now, there's still a small possibility this circle could go back to the mainland.
They would have to hard shift north.
It'd be a really hard shift.
It would have to be incredibly unlucky, as it is circling in on to the military base. So the first game of NA going towards the military base, most likely. We haven't seen that all qualifier so far on our cast, on our broadcast, as we see another knock come through. The action is starting to kick off. At the moment, doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of argy-bargy. That Novo area is quite decked out as we see an engagement on the mainland still.
What was it I said at the start? Circle barely ever goes towards the military island?
Yeah, it does barely
proven
ever
wrong
go.
immediately.
It does barely ever go, but it's alright. The Caster Cursed is back in action.
Love it.
You were doing it all of yesterday, and now you're back at it.
No comment on that one from me. Blood and Loyalty boys trying to get themselves a last little bit of loot here as they continue to move. They are
stuck, I believe, on the... Yeah, I believe they're stuck just on the northern side of that bridge. They're going to have to cross that bridge still, as they've still got teams watching them move around. Not too sure if they're... Well, they're pretty safe, pretty healthy. There's no team watching the other side of that bridge, so they should be able to get across pretty easily.
Looks like we've got a few teams who are going for a waterborne cross as well.
Guys from Method letting them cross safely. Safe passage. But Method will have to try and get across themselves at some stage. He's waiting a long time as you see fire going out into the military base itself. There's a car, very low player in that car, in the Tribe squad. Manages to get out. Lucifer, careful son. Just pops the tires, he's stuck there now.
It did explode there at the last moment, so unfortunate that he won't have an easy way out, but does have teammates around that might be able to bail him out.
He's going to need some smokes to get out of that one, I think. We've got the DMR in his sights. Got 2 players aiming at him is Method. Now they're going for the rotation over the top of the bridge. Again, it's been uncamped, so we haven't seen these North American teams camp the bridges. You are very vulnerable from behind if you do choose to camp the bridges, because essentially then you're stuck in a position. There are poor options for cover at the ends of each of the bridge. So if one team finds out that you are bridge camping, you can get backstabbed very easily. Also, it doesn't usually end on the bridge circle, so there isn't much point doing it. Maybe you get a free kill or 2, but you do put yourself in a very vulnerable position, and last thing you want is to get third-partied by a team crossing the bridge and a team on the hill looking at you.
Yeah, maybe if you're a team who lands on the military base to start with out of the plane, and then it's shifting towards a military base circle, maybe that is when it might be worth contesting the bridges, as you are one of the only few teams in the island. You know that most of the servers coming towards you, so
yeah,
maybe you can camp then. But when it's late game and a lot of the teams have already established themselves in the island, as you said, it is quite risky. We're learning as well, these TT boys, they're almost out of time for when this circle's going to move. It's pretty likely at this point it will be moving south, and they are yet to get onto the island. Yeah,
that's Team Totality stuck on there. They're just making their choice late at the moment. Maybe they were looking for some boats, they didn't quite find it, or maybe they did find the boats. Maybe they have them in waiting. As the circle shifts east, southeast. The radio tower hill is still in play. A corner of military base, a corner of Novo, but it's looking like we might head for the hills at the moment, as the boys from Method have found their way across that bridge quite safely and into the zone, in fact. So it's well done from them. Looking pretty safe. I don't know how far into the hills they'll be able to get unscathed, though, as teams will start converging on that hill location towards the center of the circle. They're going to start rotating towards and past teams, as you see gunfire going in, as one of the cars actually running them over. That's two teammates running each other over. Bit of bumper cars, and he's heading straight towards the Wizard Tower, where there is a team located. Monarch in a lot of trouble here. He's getting stuck in the door. He's going down too. That's B2W, sorry, Born to Win, maybe.
Goodness me, that's not a clash that's going well, or a crash that's going well for the Monarchs there.
Monarch has
players already.
Yeah, dropped down a Method in a really awful position as they clash their cars together. Bit of indecision of where they wanted to go, and Monarch is bleeding out on the floor at the moment. He's going to need his teammate to get the easy trade, or the trade here, but Everfury dropping very low himself as Monarch does bleed out, eventually get finished off, get flushed, get thirsted.
Oh, man.
This will be another thirst, I believe, for B2W.
Yeah, B2W pushed straight out with Everfury there. Seeing him go for the meds doesn't actually get confirmed just yet, but we'll get it done.
Need to aim down the sight, a bit more accuracy, but he gets the thirst and he'll move on. That's 2 kills for that B2W squad, as we see more knocks coming in. That is TU going through. That is the unnamed team, the team without a name, getting a knock. See Wildcard sitting on the hill. Alucard looking across. He heard that engagement down there and knows something is up. Maybe you can get an early snipe, but we see some bridge camping now actually coming out from the side of RE.
And this is those Team Totality guys who are only just starting to get a move on across this bridge.
It is just Tanker at the moment, it looks like, sitting on that bridge watching the cross from the Revenants, a team that did well last split too. I believe they were in top 4, top 5 area. So they'll be looking for a better performance this season, of course, but finishing top 5 in your region isn't the worst thing to go home with.
Pretty respectable, to be honest.
But he has got a bit of an issue here, Tanker, as there is a squad that is the unnamed team on the other side of the bridge. So he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, really. He might need to rethink his actions and rotate away. Obviously, he hasn't been spotted by either team just yet. But it does look like they're going for a swim on that TT as they've jumped off the bridge. Team Totality taking a dip.
And it does look like they could have spotted Tanker before when he did peek out, because, of course, it's hard to tell exactly what these players can and cannot see. But from our perspective, at least, it certainly looked like he could have seen those players peeking up over the rubble, and that means they could have seen him. So Team Totality choosing not to risk the bridge here, going to swim out wide and to the west.
The zone
where it looks like they might just about be okay.
The zone is encroaching, and that swim speed is incredibly slow. There's no Ian Thorpes, no Michael Phelps in this lobby. So they will take some damage from the blue, and if they get spotted on this rotation, they're going to land on the beach where there is no cover. There is a little bit of defilade, but not enough cover to save your life. So if they get spotted, as we see my man's here with the AUG level 3 out of his mind, he must have got the crate.
There was a crate. So a couple crates from one down. There you go.
The enemy spotters, he will use this AUG to laser someone down. That is Team Unnamed getting one player knocked out already. More spotted on the roof.
No kick on that thing at all. It is a laser.
It is a laser. It is fantastic. I love getting that gun in the crate. It's one of my favorites.
Would you take it over like an AWM?
Oh, yeah, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I prefer the spray and pray, the tracking. As we see B2W getting in the kill feed. That is 8 DP. They are taking a beating at the moment.
These TT guys are just touching shore as well. It looks like the Revenants might have turned around and called this one. Possible they could go and pick off Team Totality as they're coming out of the water. They are moving away and looking that direction.
Yeah, Tanker managed to get off that bridge and towards the beach with his team. He's regrouped.
And Tanker would have called that the swim was coming as well.
Yeah, he would have called that, hey, these guys aren't on the bridge. They're not crossing on the bridge. They're going to be in the water. It's the only place they can go. Team Unknown do manage to get their man back up, so they are 4 strong once more. As we see the Pittsburgh Knights getting into the kill feed too. They are trading, though. It's not as clean as they would like, as one of their players is now knocked down completely. And out of it is B2K getting onto the Method Boys as well. B2K have been in the kill feed quite a lot at the moment. This is the fight we are watching. The Pittsburgh Knights getting a spray underneath that RV there. Clipping the toes, it looks like he's doing.
Oh, no. That's not the way you want that to go. Just when you think you've got some cover, the smoke's going to be just a little bit too late to buy the space.
He's going to be pushing up too. He's knocks 2, so...
He wants to go straight for the confirm.
Oh, he's got the flank here. He's got the 3rd knock as well. Jagger's going hard in the paint.
They have managed to get a res. There's now 2 players up in the fight. This he's going to go
moving
straight on in. He is behind them as well. This could be a full team wipe from one man if he can get this final kill. Has to swap guns though as well to get the ammo economy up. But it's only one player.
Oh, he goes for the vault. No!
And the vault will be his undoing. It's Jagger from Pittsburgh Knights who wipes out an entire team on his own.
That is, you hate to see that. That's one of the first teams out of the lobby too. The Pittsburgh Knights cleaning up a 4K. But you really do hate to see the vault death, dying in the vault animation. It's one of the most frustrating things in PUBG. Disaster strikes.
Really not a fun one at all, but look, that's the way it is sometimes. We've lost 3 teams now as we hit the 18, or just past the 18-minute mark.
So we see TT getting more knocks. They are on the beach. They managed to cross pretty safely. B2W, though, they're getting more knocks. They're up to 6 kills overall for them. Having a very big first game. If they can manage to stay alive and get a high placing, they could be in the points. As we see the side of ABADDON encroaching on the edge of the circle. They've spotted a team in front of them. They're playing very slow, very cautious. They have taken a firefight before, as you can see the player's damage. The player's helmet is quite damaged. TT moving up as well. They are close to that ABADDON squad.
TT, I think, are pretty lucky to be here at this point, as they did have to go for that swim where there was a team right in front of them, but they made it up in the circle. It's going to shift hard west, excuse me. That's going to be a bit of a movement for a lot of teams to make. Wildcard right in the middle of it, though.
Wildcard right in the middle, but not in the best position, just because there are going to be a lot of teams rotating behind them and also to their west. The Pittsburgh Knights and Tribe on the southern side of the circle are going to be able to get in pretty easily, and this is TT taking shots onto that team of B2W, sorry.
There you go.
As we see TT getting 1 knock on them from Wildcard, and it's going to be confirmed too. Sniper rifle pulling out at the moment. This is a very difficult place to get to. You can see there's not a lot of cover, just some skinny trees, and skinny trees don't offer a lot from multiple angles. This is not good news for that TT squad. They are trying their best and trading a few kills back as the Pittsburgh Knights engage onto ABADDON. That is a long shot, actually. It's quite a distance, so ABADDON will be able to get that man back out, but there is only 1 player alive on this B2W squad. They have 6 kills, as I mentioned earlier. Spray's coming in. He needs to get this kill, otherwise he might be all over for their squad. It is the long shot down. Downrange from TT finishes it off, and that is B2W going out in 12th place.
It's worth noting as well that the zone is starting to move, and there's still a lot of teams who are only just coming into the circle now. TT, for one, they did hang around and they did get themselves that kill, but they've still got a bit of a way to go. The zone is nipping at their heels. They've got to run a substantial way to make it in here, and not actually a lot of cover inside this zone either. It's all pretty open.
This Tribe squad, they know there's a team to their east, and they see the smokes coming out. They have 1 player now spotting it. He's going to need to get a nice spray down here. There's an opportunity for it. This is Team Unknown getting pressured out pretty heavily. Lots of smokes being deployed at this stage of the game. The player has been spotted snaking around in the grass. He might not be long for this world if they get the right angle.
GRUNTo Esports. Meanwhile, have gone out in 11th place, unfortunately for themselves. Tribe stuck on the top of this hill. They've got some smokes and a car for cover. Going to refresh their smokes now. Try and buy themselves some area to move, but the Pittsburgh Knights coming in below them as well. There's a lot of pressure heading in towards this hilltop, and that zone is almost closed in, which means this circle's going to shift again. And given that we have two clusters of teams, really we've got a big southern cluster and a northern cluster. No matter where this circle goes, it's going to cause a big rotation for some of the teams.
Yeah, we see that fight going out between 8 DP Gold and TT. There's Team Totality taking a beating at the moment. ABADDON now getting some knocks onto Wildcard. Team Unknown onto V2. There's a lot of knocks going around all around the map. V2 are taking a beating, and the circle goes central again. Tribe are in a decent position, same with Pittsburgh Knights. They have rotation options in. That Team Unknown is stuck a little bit by the ditch. Blood and Loyalty, one of the teams who unfortunately had a player knocked out very early. They are still in a decent position. But there is a lot of northern action, as we can see now. We are on board with it, the Wildcard squad, as they are trying to flush out these teams nearby so they can rotate in quite safely.
Revenants have just picked off one of those Blood and Loyalty players as well. They're knocking him down, and it's going to be most likely a couple of awkward engagements here, given how close a lot of these teams will end up having to be. That majority, goodness, the majority of these teams are coming into the bottom half of this circle, the southern side.
Yeah, Revenants are going to have a lot of kills in front of them, and you can see them cleaning them all up. That is V2, done and dusted, I believe. They are struggling at the moment, and next on the radar is Blood and Loyalty. They're straight in front of them, essentially, and they're going to be able to get some shots straight in to their V2, getting one knockback onto the Revenant players. There is only one alive on the side of V2.
A couple of teams only one up now. Revenants do have one player as well. They can get one more res, but only one for now. Same with 8 DP Gold. 3 players alive for a couple of teams. There's still a few with 4 up, so we're not yet whittling through the players. I don't know what I'm going for there. We're not yet getting rid of too many players.
No, Team Unnamed are in a decent position, same as Wildcard. Wildcard coming in from the north. They still have control of the zone. I thought they were going to get pincered a little bit more, but most of the teams behind them, or coming in from behind them, are teams that have been weakened. Pittsburgh Knights get us a knock onto ABADDON. As ABADDON tried to rotate north, they are going to be met by Wildcard. That is one of the ABADDON players knocked out completely, as they're only down to their last 2.
Revenants also down to 1, as they did lose one of the players over there. Just saw another team go out.
That was V2. Last player finally getting cleaned up from them, as this man goes to the crate. Is there going to be anything in it?
Just snipe the crate. I thought Wildcard.
It would be very handy. That player only had a level 1 helmet and was damaged quite heavily, as Wildcard now getting aggressed by ABADDON. Pittsburgh Knights onto the side of Tribe. That's 2 knocks early. They're going to be pushing in. There's only 1 man up from that Tribe Gaming squad.
Maybe there's nothing in that crate. It's possible that one's already been...
It could have been looted.
Taken, yeah. There is another one dropping in the bottom half of the circle now, as more knocks continue to come in here. The Pittsburgh Knights...
That's Tribe gone. Pittsburgh Knights have wiped them straight out. That's Jagger getting more kills. Jagger, he's been probably the top fragger of this game, I'd say. He's been on fire. We've got 5 kills on Raven, though, so he's been no mug.
The Unnamed still with 4 players up as well. This engagement with the Pittsburgh Knights is going to be very important for them. If they can claim this, or even if they can just get a couple of kills, they will take down the only team with a similar amount of players to them. But for the Unnamed, this could rapidly turn against them if they cannot keep control of things here. They've just had 1 player knocked and confirmed as well, so much for them having 4 players up. They're now 3, same with Unnamed. Pittsburgh Knights going to be throwing some grenades over onto those boys, and both players have just had 1 knocked, or both teams I should say. So all of a sudden, if these revives are not obtained, then we could... a cheeky
threading
line.
The needle there. Exactly
that. Then all of a sudden it's turned around. Our teams with 4 and 3 players now have 3 and 1. 2 players down for the Unnamed. Maybe Bucky can get some reses happening, but looks like his mate Raven's going to bleed out down the bottom of that hill before he can get to him, so it may just be 1 player they're able to recover. So
it is the Pittsburgh Knights in the driver's seat in this situation. Team Unknown getting aggressed on by that Blood and Loyalty squad. Blood and Loyalty with 2 men up. Team Unnamed, they only have 1 player still alive as the knocks get confirmed. They still have that 1 man up now. Wildcard with 1 player and 1 player down. They won't be able to resurrect that player, I don't believe. Pittsburgh Knights making a mad dash for the center of the circle. They know there's only probably solos there, if anyone, and is their top fragger, Jagger, who is getting more and more confirmed kills.
He's indeed doing very well in that. The circle shifts and it moves
get knocked,
more
though.
central.
Wildcard have found him.
Oh, goodness, and that should be a confirm as well into Vigilante. Not quite, but with a lot of damage taken by here. In the meantime, Wildcard's still getting involved with only 1 player remaining. Solo's doing a decent amount of damage here. Vigilante with a big spray onto that last player.
Jagger might get confirmed. He's dropped very low. He was taking a few shots from inside the smoke.
That's it. He did just hit a 10 kill streak, so he's done his part.
10 kill streak.
Apparently so.
On Jagger. That equals the top fragger of the tournament so far for the NA region. He does manage to go down though, so no more shenanigans for him as the Pittsburgh Knights find themselves center of the circle. But they are hurting as it's a 1v1v1. Pittsburgh Knights can resurrect their players. They are together. So we see some snakes in the grass. He heard the movement.
Yeah, I think he's just heard him as well. So if these two solos take each other out and they're essentially handing the game to the Pittsburgh Knights at this point, they have managed to get their revive and some meds happening. So 2v1v1 for the final 4 players as the circle shrinks smaller and smaller. It's going to shift again here in just a second. We'll see where it ends up, but I feel like it's going to favor the Pittsburgh Knights no matter what, and as if things could get any better for them, it shifts onto both Pittsburgh Knights players and leaves the 2 solos outside of things. So Raven and Fantasy both going to be forced to move in a second, and either way, it's Raven who cleans up the last Blood and Loyalty player. So a 2v1 for him now up against these Pittsburgh Knights. It's doable, but he's outside of the zone. He only has his bush for cover.
And he's got no helmet on. His helmet's been shot off. His vest is a little bit damaged. He's got no meds as well to heal up, so he's in struggle street. These Pittsburgh Knights players have spread out too, and now they've found him through the bush. An anticlimactic end to that game, but well done to the Pittsburgh Knights. They made 2 roster changes in the off-season, but Jagger the Fragger at the top there with 6 he'd finished off with. That is a fantastic effort for him, including the 1v4. Well, not the 1v4, but he got a whole squad wipe by himself.
Solo squad wipe, exactly that.
Yeah, in
quite
that
a 1v4,
base.
but may as well have been an 11-kill chicken dinner for the Pittsburgh Knights as well.
So we see Raven getting 6 kills as well. So it's a really high fragging players in this first game of the day on this North American Group C, Group D getting played out. A good way to start. A military-based circle, lots of frags, lots of highlight plays. What more could you ask for?
Oh, not too much really. You know, maybe a scooter backflip or one of those.
We'll have to wait for Sanhok to see a scooter backflip. See if we can get one of the players to do it. This was that method compound crash that just went so poor so quick, and this was the one, or the 4-man knock. He managed to get some
squad wipe.
As soon as he knew that he got those clips like on the feet of those players, knocking them out, and here it is. Oh, this was such an unfortunate situation when you're trying to move and you vault over the top and down you go. When you are vaulting, you're incredibly vulnerable. There's nothing you can do. So you see some epic spray downs from long range. That was some good stuff there from the boys. Very nice game, and the quality of these NA's games are pretty high. The Pittsburgh Knights, they rotated well. There wasn't any big mistakes at all that game. It seemed pretty clean from the sides of Pittsburgh Knights. We see Tribe finishing up high as well, Team Unknown. So we see some familiar faces at the top of the leaderboard already.
It did indeed, and I mean, it was a bit touch and go for the Pittsburgh Knights towards the end there. It was them and the Unnamed who both had a couple of players up in the last few things, but they managed to get rid of the Unnamed there, and from there it was pretty easy path to the chicken dinner for them. 11 kills, 20 placement points for 31 total. 12 kills for Wildcard, so while they did only come in 4th place, I believe, for the points there for 8 points, 12 kills puts them in 3rd overall, sticking ahead of Blood and Loyalty. The Unnamed as well, 2nd place, 7 kills, not bad from them.
Yeah, Wildcard found themselves in a pretty fortunate situation at the start of the end of the game, you'd call it, start of the late game, where there was a lot of squads behind them, a lot of squads to their west that were fighting each other. So they were able to third-party a lot of these kills, as we see some of the losers of the first game, some of the game 1 victims, as we see GRUNTo, Scent Legends, and Method not getting a kill each. But they'll look to turn that around in our future maps to come. I'm sure they can. There are some pretty decent teams down there. You wouldn't expect that, especially Method, GRUNTo. You wouldn't be expected to see them so low so quickly. HQA Gaming, they retained 4 of their players from the off-season, and they find themselves not having the strongest start. They'll look to bounce back as well.
That said, it is only one map. Like, it's very possible to have a bad map. The rotation doesn't go your way, circle doesn't go your way. Even just if loot doesn't go your way, then, well, look, there's a lot that can happen that can just throw you off, right? So
yeah,
it's very early days yet. This is the first game that these teams in Group C and D have played. We have 3 more tonight. We've got a Sanhok, Miramar, and another Erangel coming up right after this. But before we get to those 3 games, we've got one more thing to do, which is we're going to have a short break. So we'll be back with you with Sanhok right after that.
Providing a lot of suppressing fire. Now he gets onto the bike and bitch, that was a big mistake. Shouldn't have got onto the bike because he will be shot from by Simple. I think he was kind of just gunning or thinking that because he got on the bike, he might not commit to the fight. very small for him. He should be able to escape, but no, the cars might be exploding here as Clue tries to run the heck out of there, but Salty Beast running through the car and will explode. And Clue is out of there. Couple of players left. It's actually Nagasaki. Yeah, Nagasaki is there.
It's a hide and seek game right now. Like everybody, like, where is that guy? Like he's like, I'm chilling. Like everything's good. Like,
yeah, it's all good in the hood as Euphoria is all alone. Nagasaki is their player, but he has been found.
They're not finding him.
No, they don't know where he's at. Okay, they found
finally.
him. Finally, they found him. So it will be IF. Those kills, leaving SSG with just one player still very much alive. But he's towards the edge of the circle. Right now they're peppering another team here. ABS is in a lot of trouble as Cena just raining down hell on them. And they are hiding behind the tree lines. But as you can see, Hector is coming in from behind as well. He has no cover fire whatsoever.
He's still alive, especially SSG, which were champions, like not to start on the first match and not to start on the second match also. But we have JMN right here pushing on. Let's see if they can take the kill.
Carnage hiding inside the house or hiding inside the toilets here. He will be taken down and will be knocked on his feet. And he will be taken out as well. That getting that kill. So 6 Angry Men getting a couple of kills in their favor. Getting one at least.
PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Anytime, anywhere. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. A quick game for those short breaks. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Endless respawn, endless fun. There is a better choice.
welcome back. We have found ourselves one game down for the day. Erangel in the books, the first one. Pittsburgh Knights taking it out. If you missed that game, you need to subscribe yourself to the PUBG Mobile YouTube channel. Esports YouTube channel. And if you find yourself without the game installed on your phone, then you're a bit silly. You need to head to the App Store or Google Play and download it right away.
Yeah, pretty much. Get on that. If you're not if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel or you're not playing PUBG Mobile, then look, we appreciate you dropping by, but get on that. Get on it. Get involved. Not right now. Watch the games, but subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're here. Either way, it is indeed, as you say, one map down. We head into Sanhok and Miramar after this, and then another Erangel to finish.
Yeah, so it is going to be another Erangel eventually, but Sanhok up next, and we've seen some fun stuff happen on Sanhok. Obviously, yesterday we had a cool backflip on the scooter, which was probably the highlight of the day for me. It was excellent. Excellent work.
We had so many high kill games, 1v4s, 1v3s, but we're just like scooter backflip.
Well, I mean, the scooter backflip was intense, alright, because he was getting shot at, he was under fire, under pressure, running away from the enemies, and he decided, you know what, time for a bit of a blackflip.
The most elite dodge of all time.
Yeah, it was a very good dodging maneuver. He did a barrel roll, essentially. But Pittsburgh Knights, game one, cleaned it up in the military base island. Any thoughts about it? Jagger fragging out, Raven fragging out. They both had 6 kills for that game, I believe, so already starting to work their way up to the top fraggers for NA. Can anyone catch C9, though, for points?
I mean, C9 worked out would have had 2 firsts, 2 thirds. So
correct. Yeah.
That's a really big lead to catch up. And they also got 24 frags across their 4 games as well, I think it was.
I think it was 34 or 24?
34?
I think it might have been 34, but that is a lot of work to do.
Yeah, 60 placement points and 34 frags. So there's a lot to do. It's possible, I guess, for any of these teams to catch C9, but that's a really, really high standard to live up to.
It certainly is, and if it's going to be anyone, it would have to be this Pittsburgh Knights roster. They had a fantastic game 1. Team Unknown had a decent game 2. Going into Sanhok, though, it's a different kettle of fish. It's a smaller map. Rotations are harder. There's not as much use of vehicles, so Method will be happy with that. They played a bit of bump cars in the first game and ended up losing out to that, but I'm excited to see Sanhok. Lots of action, different weapons as well onto Sanhok, different environment, lots of hills, lots of tree terrain. Those compounds, not as important. It's very difficult. If you get stuck in one of those compounds and you have to rotate out of it, you're pretty much, walking dead at that point.
And we've seen a bit of that on Sanhok over the last couple of days, where teams have taken a compound that's very central in the circle and thought, yeah, we're comfortable, we can sit here and ride out the storm, as it were, and then the circle shifts halfway away from them, and they've got to try and dig themselves out of this very entrenched position that they've found. So have to see if that is indeed going to be a problem, but having a quick fly-through of Sanhok here, 4x4 kilometers, it's a quarter of the size of Erangel, the map we were just on, unique weapon being the QBU.
That is that DMR. It's very fast firing rate. It's kind of like the Mini, except I think it's a little bit more chunkier than the Mini, a little more powerful. As we see a fly through, the plane is going straight from west to east. It will cover most of the map, in fact. There's nothing out of bounds here, or out of, reach. Not everything's in bounds, of course. As we do have the big golden plane back on it. Let's rock. Seems to be a theme for the North American region.
I respect it. Looks like we've had a lot of teams getting out very early as well. Looks like 8, 9 teams out of the plane already.
It does look like a lot of teams are spewing out of this plane already. Camp Bravo might be a place for nice loot if you are later on in the plane. Boot camp might be packed. A lot of teams moving towards there, but we saw Pachinki, which is kind of like the boot camp of Erangel, be pretty open. So who knows what could come about there as the first teams do start to land in the boot camp. Lots of teams spread across all over this map.
There's a lot on the eastern side, though. We only had a couple of teams who jumped out really early and went early, and that is a very northwestern circle. That's already looking like it's going to be a northwestern island finish for BeatsW and the Unnamed. They're already up on that island, and given how much water is in that circle, that's probably where we'll end up.
I'd assume so, and that is scary stuff. We've already had the military circle, and now we get the equivalent on Sanhok of that northwestern island circle. A lot of teams, as you said, they dropped out on the eastern side of that plane. So they're finding themselves with massive rotations to do. Sanhok isn't a map that you want to be using cars on, as the zone already starts to encroach. Sanhok's zones are very, very fast.
Have a look at G6 as well, in the very, very southeastern corner of the map down in Docks. They're about as far as it's possible to be from this zone.
Yeah, they're going to have to find themselves some boats, I believe, because if they're trying to rotate by a car from that distance in, there is a very high chance that someone along the way will find them and take them out. As we see, the boot camp action is a bit of a stalemate. Both these teams will be aware that there are other teams in the vicinity. Probably only know that there is one, as we see some window peeking go through there from the side of Blood and Loyalty. They have been spotted as the gunfire does roll out. A grenade tries for something a bit lucky. You have to cook this to perfection. He actually sees a guy run out. Not going to be out of time to get the spray. The timing just failing him there on the GRUNTo players. They did go out early last game, so they're going to be looking for a more solid result this game. They'll definitely want to win this fight. But one of their GRUNTo players is being caught out in the open by one of the Blood and Loyalty boys, and he'll be finished off straight away. GRUNTo already off to a shocker.
Not a good start for them. Will be first blood for the Blood and Loyalty guys. First blood and loyalty. I don't know. Not
First Blood and Loyalty?
Not great.
It wasn't your finest work.
Well,
but
no, it's not my
we'll have
finest hour, but you know, look, we've got a lot of time to work on these things, and there will be better gear eventually. Is GRUNTo trying to repay the damage that's been done to them? See if they can pick off the player who was down in the team. Fantasy off on the other side of the ditch.
It was Fantasy that picked up that kill too, so it would be revenge. As Jagger, our top frag from last game, gets knocked early from Pittsburgh Knights. They'll want to keep him up. They are in a position to resurrect him, I believe. I don't think he's going to be left alone, as there are no teams really around him. But wow, what a start. We've already had some action in the boot camp. Pittsburgh Knights already getting into the action too. Our game 1 winners. As nade rolls out from the side of Blood and Loyalty. It didn't quite connect as well as he'd hoped. Did do a little bit of damage, but that is one nade used. And those nades are very valuable on Sanhok.
Circle's already, or the zone I should say, is starting to roll in, and maybe pretty, well, I mean, it's not moving yet, but once it does, it's going to be a pretty difficult rotate for a lot of these teams. G6, those boys down in the very southwest are still yet, or southeast even, are still yet to move.
Well, the problem is that there's still about 30% of this zone in the water. So much of it is unplayable, so we could see some early, some early gunfire here, because there's just no room for these teams. There's no real estate for all these teams.
The other thing that's interesting is looking at that Northwestern Island, BTW and the Unnamed are potentially about to run into each other. They're the only two teams on this island. They could have effectively almost called a truce and just stayed on the side of the island, but they might be getting into a gunfight here in just a second, and that's giving the HQA guys time to cross that west bridge as well. So will be a third team setting up shop on this island. A lot of other teams now starting to move west, encroaching around that river as Blood and Loyalty are continuing their clash with GRUNTo here.
Yeah,
not finding anything just yet, though, at the boot camp.
These two teams are in the zone for now, so they don't have any pressure to move. They're kind of just trying to get some picks, trying to get one more knock on the side of GRUNTo, and I think Blood and Loyalty will go in for the kill. As you see their players taking a lot of space. They are spread out, fanned across this boot camp. They're covering all these angles of retreat. GRUNTo are pretty much penned in at the moment. They can retreat towards the east, but that's not where they want to be going. That's away towards the zone. More Blood and Loyalty players take the shot. A GRUNTo player does go down and finish too. He's thirsted him. And that means 2 players alive for GRUNTo now.
And they've spotted at least one of them. You can see the shadow down there of OJ peeking in and out. He's actually across the building. Won't quite catch him. And not sure if they know about Hellcat just yet, but they still know there's 2 players in GRUNTo. And look
there
at
is a
Chibi
flank
as well.
going.
Exactly, going for the flank. It's going to be pretty difficult for GRUNTo to get out of now, and here you go. Blood and Loyalty are encroaching for this kill. Going to come in all sides of this warehouse at the same time, and for GRUNTo, they do have some decent positioning, but OJ has gotten off that angle just at the wrong moment. Takes a lot of damage for it, trying to pre-fire his way around the corner, but didn't have the health to sustain it. Decent work from Hellcat there to at least get himself to 2, but will indeed be Blood and Loyalty getting the cleanup in the end, and unfortunately, none of those Blood and Loyalty players were confirmed for GRUNTo. They were only knocked, so the rests will come through, and GRUNTo are out in 60. Yeah,
he didn't manage to thirst any of those players. Probably would have gone for one. Let's try and get that 1 point, but eventually they do drop as the player from Method does drop into the water. They are back in the vehicles, getting sprayed down. They're so low on that beachfront.
Oh, Method.
One does drop down again.
Well. Yeah, they're getting
Revenants might try and push here. They know that those players are low. One's knocked down. If there's any grenades coming through, this player's just picked up a level 3 helmet. He's got a level 3 backpack and vest. Tanker. He is the tank at the moment. It's the last of the Meth players tries to get into the water. There's only 2 alive on that squad now, so their day has gone from bad to worse as they were knocked out last place last game. They managed to survive for more than last place, but it doesn't matter on the points if they don't manage to get out of here. 11th to 16th, all earning only 1 point.
And they wouldn't have any kills just yet either on these Method boys.
No,
so
not at all.
it's not looking good for them. It doesn't look like the Revenants have spotted them just yet out in the middle of the lake.
No, and again, these Revenants players, they are bloodthirsty players. They got a few kills last game. Decent position too. They got the top 6, top 8 area. So they had an on-par game, I'd say, for the start of the tournament, as the Pittsburgh Knights have rotated on the north and they found themselves a loot crate. So we'll see later what they've actually picked up from that. Level 3s will be handy though. So we see more action on this beautiful map of Sanhok. It is quite a picturesque map.
Apart from, you know, the 60 people trying to kill each other.
No, we
Other than
ignore
that,
that.
it's lovely.
We pretend that's not there for the moment. If we're taking tourist pictures and stuff like that, nice photos, we pretend that they're not there at the moment.
Easy, not a problem. Well then, it looks like a majority of teams have completed their rotation at least into the circle. The ABADDON guys have not, and that team, I think it's G6, who were in the far southeast at the docks, have found themselves some boats and are rotating. Or actually,
yeah, they're going to need to get a motor on too, though.
They might even be swimming. I haven't been looking at them for a while. It's possible they've been swimming their way around this map. Surely not. No, they're moving too quickly. They do have at least one boat, but it looks like they've dropped a couple of players off to try and find another one, and the zone is now coming in on those guys next to Buntai down there. So going to need to hopefully find themselves a boat pretty quick, or else hopefully grab a car and just go bush bashing straight up the center of the map and hope that nobody spots them.
That blood and loyalty fight in the boot camp, they managed to clean out GRUNTo, but now the Wildcard boys have turned up and starting to have a look-see. Blood and loyalty have some suspicion that there are players around, the Wildcard guys now. Whoa, he could get some nice shots
far
off
out
here.
there.
Spray. Does end up getting knocked. Will he be able to thirst him? He might be able to get behind that. Yeah, behind line of sight, behind the cover.
He's actually not sure where this is coming from. When he keeps going, he's exposing himself again. He's not sure exactly where these bullets are from, and he's going to be knocked now. Yeah, that's it. Wasn't ready for Wildcard to be that far above him. Thought he was safe from cover, but of course, you only know the direction you're being fired on, not the elevation, and that will be his undoing. Speaking of being undone, SL have dropped at least one here to 8 DP, and going to get the confirm on that one as well.
St. Legends dropping a player quite early as that 8 DP gold roster does pick up some early kills. They are down to 3 members, so they're not this full strength. But they'll hope to get a few more kills. There's the St. Legends roster flee in terror. As they're down to 2 players. They have 1 player knocked out. I don't think they're going to be able to go for the Resurrect on him. Or the Revive, I should say. Yeah, he looks like he's been left to the wolves of that 8 DP gold roster.
So it seems that way. So that's another kill that they can confirm, and they should be finding it here in just a moment. There we go.
There we go. Yep.
Have confirmed that one. So that's 1 extra kill on the board for them. St. Legends now with just 2 up. Great start for things for them. There's only one other team that's been eliminated, so not looking ideal. And here comes this circle shift. The zone just about finished closing in now. Everyone inside the circle, and ooh, okay, it actually shifts a little bit eastward. So potential for a hard shift east and staying on the mainland, but the majority of the island still in play. The large part of the area around the island on the mainland still available, which is where most teams are rotating through. And crucially, all 3 bridges to the island are still inside that circle as well.
Yeah, so there's options to rotate across. There's obviously a sandbar as well that you can run across. So you don't have to get into that swimming animation, which can be quite detrimental if you're in that swimming animation, because you are about essentially just
sitting duck.
Yeah, swimming duck. Swimming duck, in fact, yeah. Ducks do like a good swim too, as we see more action go out on the top side of the map. This is a lot of teams rotating from the same area. The G6 guys have managed to find a second boat and get them way in. Tribe made their way across too. There's HQA in the mixture, as well as Team Totality. So these 3 teams, Tribe, HQA, and Team Totality, all on top of each other, and something's got to give. We see it. The HQA guys pushing up into this compound, occupied by Team Totality. They don't know someone's there.
This could be rough.
Knock before you enter, mate. Don't be rude. No, he's not going to choose that.
He's being rude, but there's a player right inside here, prone. You can see him through the wall there. He'll hear all of these footsteps. He's waiting for someone to walk in through the door and should be able to get this one. Only just able to get it, though. Takes a lot of damage. And
gets the thirst, and another player down, and will be thirsted too, so this is a lot of ending here. Team Totality have managed to defend their compound barely, as one of their players do get knocked. Not finished. There are more snakes in the grass. Team Totality knows something is up as Snake does try and fire back, throws a nade out.
And there he is though, it's going to be an easy knock and confirm as well. Nothing his teammates can do, so this may well be a full team wipe here for Team Totality. Just one player remaining they have to find, who is approaching here. Really salty coming up from the other side. Hidden behind a rock though, he's lost 3 of his teammates. Well, 2 so far, 1 knocked, and he knows that Cross is inevitably going to be beyond saving. Once Team Totality decide they are safe enough to get that kill, they will indeed do so. There it is.
Yeah, they knocked him out too there, so it is just the one player alive for that HQA squad. Unfortunate, they tried to breach a compound, they didn't know the information, they didn't do the scouting. Well, even then, I don't know how much scouting would have helped because they were all prone in building.
Yeah, they were inside. The only way you were going to find them was running in and just getting a lucky fight. That is a really creepy mannequin. Yeah, just running in and hoping you could win the fight, so it wasn't looking too good for them. The G6 boys, having come from the very bottom right-hand corner of the map, have actually found themselves a decent bit of space now, entering the island from the western coast. No one's actually over there, so their situation has improved drastically. They've got a bit of room to maneuver. The boot camp still occupied by Blood and Loyalty. Wildcard still with a position above it as well.
Yeah, they're banking on that chest drop into boot camp, that crate. Will deliver some much needed level 3s and maybe some upgraded weaponry too. Groza wouldn't go astray here. That thing shreds vehicles, but it is Sanhok. Not many vehicle rotations to be had.
Yeah, it'll also shred players though. So
yeah, it does the work. It does the work. It does the job versus the players as well.
Got a couple of teams going for the cross now. Method look like, I mean, they've been hanging out in this middle island for a while. If they got chased over there, they look like they want to cross over the island at some point soon, maybe. And the Revenants next to them are heading over towards that bridge as well. Let's go on the bridge
fight here. This is Pittsburgh Knights versus Team Unknown. Pittsburgh Knights found at 7, found on a cliff, and he's in a really rough position because if he drops down, he might die to the fall damage.
I mean, he's got very little health as it is, so I don't think it's really possible for his team to res him.
No, I think they have to give him up. And Pittsburgh Knights have already taken a fair bit of damage this game.
The one thing is, it's a point tonight for the Unnamed. They're not going to get that kill.
If he bleeds out, he does bleed out, so they will get the kill on Team Unknown.
I didn't mind. I thought
and that's 2 players down for Pittsburgh Knights. Our Game 1 winners are wounded. Vigilante still up with Sam. So the young gun Sam from Pittsburgh Knights still up. Let's see if he can clutch it out for his team. They'll be playing for late rotations. They'll be playing to third party and maybe find some kills, maybe work their way inside that top 10 with some kill points. That will, you'd think that would be what the goal is now for that squad, as the circle has shifted towards that northwestern island and will stay there. Teams will be forced to rotate out of boot camp. That will be Wildcard south of boot camp.
Method is still here lurking on their little island as well. They got chased into the surf not too long ago, and they've been hanging out on that island ever since. They might actually be just inside that circle on the western tip of their island, but they will eventually have to cross over to the main island where this circle will be going. So double island circles for us, back-to-back Military Island on Erangel and Northwestern Island here.
Certainly getting the double island circle. Maybe we get the third. Maybe on Miramar it goes to the islands.
We almost had an Eastern Island circle yesterday. It was close and then abruptly shifted back onto the mainland for us, but we'll see. Either way, we have to get through the rest of Sanhok first, and Blood and Loyalty might actually catch out or be caught out by Method here if they decide to swim across right next to their island.
Straight into them. This gunfire breaks out. It is Team Unknown, I believe. Oh, no, it is Team Unknown taking some kills off B2K. Some more gunfire breaks out on this hillside. There's 3 players knocked down already, and it could be the end of the squad. 1 more kill. 1 man alive. He's playing to defilate well, though, as 3 players are knocked out from Team Unknown as well. He will play safe and go for the res as B2W. 1 player alive. He's going to try and reset and go for some reses too, but he's in the unfortunate position of being on the low ground, as we see the Method and Blood and Loyalty taking the fight to each other. There is one Method man remaining, and they don't want to be going out in 15th place because they had a shocker of a game 1 as well. They are getting Method players getting traded, but that's it. They're gone in 15th place. So Method and GRUNTo both going out early again.
That's rough for those 2 teams. Early days yet in the overall group stage here, but not the start they would have been looking for, certainly.
Certainly not.
Method, a team who had themselves a decent time last split as well, so wouldn't want to see them going out this hard, I suppose, so early, but a lot of games yet to be played. 16 remaining just in the group stage for each team, 22 overall. Rez has come through for B2W. So
He's managed to pick up all of his team,
yeah,
actually.
for a situation where they had one player left and he had almost no health, they managed to get all 3 revives happening. So a bit of a reprieve for them, but the Unnamed are still right on top of them and pushing.
So basically, both of these squads just back off and reset, but there's no resetting now. The spray comes in. He's going to try and thirst this kill too. He doesn't get it. The player manages to get into cover just in time. So both of these squads had 1 man remaining. They called a bit of a truce, and reset to 4 players. As Snake in the grass, he's not going to be able to find anything. He will get thirsted as well. They're using the movement as a unit, Team Unknown. They knew they got 1 knock. Now they're going in for the kill. The player did get resurrected, so it is 3 players up on the side of B2W. But how much longer can they survive as the Team Unknown guys are on top, and they saw a shadow just flash around the corner there, so he knows the player's down there. He sees another flash too.
They're on the hunt here, the Unnamed, Unknown, whichever one they are.
They're unnamed at the moment.
Unnamed, there you go.
They need a name.
In my head, they do need a name. BTW are just escaping down the
getting
cliffs
flanked
into these
at the
gullies,
moment.
but yeah, they are indeed getting flanked. It's 8 DP Gold who are picking up a bit of the slack as well. From long range, from the village across the way, and the Unnamed, look at that, I do see them as well. They're shooting at incredibly long range, but
That's
they will be able to get
G6 adding more fire to the party as well.
They're getting some damage on at that long range, and BTW now stuck between a large rock and a pretty hard place as well. Teams on both sides. It's not looking too bright for them at the minute, as the Unnamed do back off for a bit now that they know there's pressure coming from other angles, and Revenants are down below them here as well.
Revenant are rotating in straight behind B2W as well, so they might come into this party, and this could be a 4-way fight if 8DP choose to push in this direction, but they are looking to move hesitantly to the east.
Circles shifted westward on the island as well, away from Camp Alpha, away from the other little buildings that are around. There's only 1 compound in here at the moment, and Totality currently occupy it. That should be a knock for B2W.
He gets the knock, he doesn't confirm the kill, and he just gets on his scooter and gets out of there before the fellas show up.
Do a backflip.
So Revenant might be able... he's not doing a backflip in this thing. Ooh. He's going down, in fact.
Yeah, Revenant have been waiting around. They've been able to find that one. Parker knows his teammates in the open and can't really do too much to get him out of there. Just has to try and keep himself alive at this point.
One of the Revenant players did bleed out though, so they are only down to 3 members now. So we see a fancy skin on his back. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, skin to win. That's how it works. Cosmetics make you shoot better.
I definitely do. Can confirm that. As we see all the teams rotating into the zone now. It is a southern zone of that northwestern island. Lots of hills in play, lots of cliffs faces, lots of rocks. So we're going to see lots of close angles.
A lot of cover for these teams to work around too.
Team Unknown are king of the castle at the moment. They're going to be gatekeeping a lot of teams coming in. Pittsburgh Knights, with their 2 players, have managed to find themselves back into the zone. So maybe they can find a few frags on the outer.
Parker, the last remaining player of B2W, is potentially in a bit of trouble here. He's got the Unnamed above him. Revenant's below. That's a big grenade, but not quite going to land where they wanted it to, unless it was the smoke. Didn't quite see.
That's the Pittsburgh Knights.
Also should be able to confirm. No, he hasn't actually seen the B2W player behind him.
No, he hasn't. This could come back to bite him, as well as the B2W player has not given his position up at all. But this is a big fight at the top of the mountain. Pittsburgh Knights getting in the mix with 8 DP. 1 man falls off a cliff. That's not good. Team Unknown are there as well, sitting at the top, waiting for the challenges. But they are getting peppered by Pittsburgh Knight and Revenant at the same time. This is going to be a massive fight breaking out, but at the moment they managed to get the res in the mix of all the action. A grenade coming through. This could be very big.
As long as he throws it now while the res is going.
He does get 1 knock with that. He doesn't finish the other guy. He does get another knock with that nade. So kill feed being a bit laggy there.
Yeah. And this is going to be one of those...
That B2W player did get a knock from the back end there, so he has shown his position. He might choose to go down to the blue to deny the point.
And he did get a kill on that other Revenant player there as well, managed to knock him through the smoke. No, he's actually out healing the blue, so hasn't given it up just yet. Team Unnamed
this is the last Revenant player now too.
Team Unnamed up top are getting a lot of pressure coming towards them. As 8 DP, another player falls off a cliff. That's 2 from them.
Need to keep your feet, fellas, especially in this terrain. Pittsburgh Knights now getting as many kills as they can. They're putting the hurt onto that 8 DP team. Wildcard on the southern side of the circle getting some pressure as well. That is BY taking some damage. There's lots of fights going on around this map. G6 getting involved too towards the the side, I believe, where they can't even find where they are on this map at the moment. There's so many teams on top of each other. They've actually gone out G6. They've eliminated themselves into 14th position. So we're eliminating the teams now. There are a lot of solo players left. Revenant, B2W, they're all solos. The B2W player does go down. That's another team gone. V2 getting knocked by BY. Team Unknown on top of the hill, still taking the fight to the Pittsburgh Knights.
And still a lot of players outside the circle as the Unnamed go over the edge and get some spray downs coming through. Some legends find themselves a confirm as well. Blood and Loyalty, things looking rough for them as we have now lost a couple of teams. The Unnamed Raven here wants to get this res, but no, the zone's coming too quickly. As you say, he will have to leave him. Just going to do some lightning quick looting and then get on his way. The zone at this point is doing a lot of damage, so you've got to get out of it. The later you get into the game, the more damage the blue will do to you. And the Unnamed at this point still being pressured up on top of their hill. Team Totality getting a couple of kills as well. Still a lot of players outside this zone as it has shifted westward onto
We've dropped out to
ABADDON.
5 teams. Tribe now taking out 8 DP. There's GRUNTo now. HQA managed to survive their 2 players from earlier. Finding some pain now as Tribe are in the mix. Team Unknown still fighting pretty strong. Raven now, 6 kills last game. A lot of gaming to be done in this circle, as no team is currently in the circle. TT is 4-man strong.
ABADDON are pretty close if they move uphill a little bit.
Wildcard looks like they have 1 man remaining too, so we're down into the final moments of, well, not the final moments, but the final circles of this game. TT, they're looking in a strong position as they rotate south to try and flush out any men remaining there, any threats, as they are finding the wildcard member, the last one from there, so they'll wipe that guy out. 4 teams remaining.
Still ABADDON though at the bottom of this hill, hiding behind the wall. They have the other team that's close to the circle. Team Totality will get inside it now. And
that's Team Unknown and Tribe going at it.
Yeah, the Unnamed and Tribe having a big battle, and looks like Tribe are going to get the better of it. The Unnamed should have 2 players knocked by the zone here in just a second, and it's going to be a pretty rough one for them. It's only the 1 player left. He's going to get knocked as well, so that'll be it. That's the Unnamed gone. Only 2 teams remaining now. 8 players. So we've got 2 teams of 4 going at it, and both in the zone now. ABADDON still needs to come up this hill just a little bit, and Team Totality might have seen them earlier, and they're going to get control of the bulk of this final circle. Or
Team
well,
Totality
one of the final circles.
Do have a man knocked out at the moment, and it doesn't look like anyone is around to resurrect him or to revive him. It's a 4v3 at this stage. They aren't going to be able to go for that revive, as the zone is encroaching too quickly. 1 man running down there to try and get it, but they do have the high ground as another player gets knocked, and it is an ABADDON player on the bottom of the hill that finds himself not close enough to that wall, so he's taken out. He's going to go for the res. There's a mad dash to that rock. He's getting peppered as he moves in, but he manages to get the angle to get that res. Trainer, unfortunately, not able to confirm that knock, and Team Totality will be back to 4 strong.
This circle is going to force the majority of ABADDON out of their cover as well. The
2 ABADDON players go down very quickly.
There you go. Yeah, the zone is moving in on them now. They're going to have to get out of behind these walls, these rocks where they found themselves.
It was the 2 players at the wall. It was the 2 players at the wall, so they're gone. They're done. There's no way they're getting up.
So it's just the 2 players hiding behind the rocks now, and Team Totality have found themselves some really good cover here as well as the circle encroaches in, throwing in nades to try and get the confirms. And there is HH24. He's gone climbing on the cliffs to try and get up behind them. This is looking like
it's his 3rd knock too.
Done.
He could be going for the full flush here. That could be all of them. And the match has ended. It is Team Totality taking the 1st place. They were on the high ground, dominating the air, and HH24 had the god angle there. He picks up 7 kills for himself.
Bit of a mountain goat there, clambering on over the rocks and finding himself a superior angle to look down. And look, it was over for ABADDON because he had the high ground. Nothing that they can do. And it's a big game for Team Totality. 14 kill even, chicken dinner for them. They'll be pretty happy with that. 34 points as we have a look at the highlights here. The plane actually, looking at the drop rate that came out of it, I mean, everyone drops on the eastern side of the map, and then the circle immediately popped hard northwest. It was not the nicest of circles for everyone.
These circles have been very unfriendly today in the C and D stage of this qualifier, well, not the qualifier, but this group stage of PMCO for 2019. So this was the compound push. GRUNTo going down very early in the game once more. They're gonna need a reset. Think about where their strategy has gone wrong so far. Come back in the second half of the day a bit stronger. More knocks go out. And this was Pittsburgh Knights getting caught out in an unfortunate situation. They did lose Jagger very early, who seemed to be the star player of Game 1. This was Team Unnamed, sitting atop the mountain for so long, and they were in such a good position.
There was a lot of King of the Hill sort of play this game. A lot of teams sitting in the high ground and dueling with 5 teams trying to take that position.
This was the mad scooter dash that didn't work out. He did end up going down there. A nice nade here.
Yeah, that was a double kill nade, I believe, that one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
The way it was this play at the end pretty much that sealed it. I mean, it was
This
still
angle
looking
was
like it was
dirty.
going to be good for Team Totality. They did have the 4v2, 2 players behind the wall who are unlikely to be rezzed, but they're getting that player up on top on the cliff and having that superior angle was pretty much secured the entire thing for them. There was nowhere for ABADDON to run. They already lost their players behind the wall. The remaining were just clinging to some rocks and totally exposed from above when HH24 came around the edge there.
Yeah, HH24 getting 3 knocks in that final fight from that cheeky position up on the rocks. The Mountain Goat, as you said, it was fantastic positioning for him to rotate towards that position. They managed to get their mate up on the western side of the circle too, and be 4 strong with HH taking that angle. So it was a bit of a risky play. He was isolated, but sometimes that works out in the benefit.
It does indeed, and it did for them that time as well. So a 34-point chicken dinner for Team Totality. They'll be pretty happy with that one. That's going to move them up the standings quite a bit, as it's one of the... Well, I mean, we haven't really had too many super high-scoring chicken dinners. I think 37 is the highest we've seen. I'm interested to see what C9 managed to pull off yesterday, but 34 points for Team Totality, 18 for the Unnamed, 16 for ABADDON, only getting 2 kills on their run to second place. They were playing very passive for most of that, managed to avoid a large amount of the engagements, and only 2 frags for them will push them down into 3rd place instead of 2nd.
Blood and Loyalty in the boot camp making a massacre. They ended up getting 7 kills, the 3rd highest in the game, but only 1 placement point. They went out a bit too early to collect any more than that. So getting 8 points from a 1 placement point game, you'd have to say you'd be happy with that.
Yeah, you've done pretty well if you're still fragging that hard despite going out in the bottom 5, right?
Yeah, so it means your rotations weren't too on point, but when you were getting into these gunfights, you weren't having too many problems. They obviously did take out the full squad of GRUNTo.
Wildcard only 1 kill, and that was that super long range knock in the boot camp there. They didn't get anything else done after that. And having a look elsewhere on the scoreboard, HQA no kills, 4 placement points. Method and GRUNTo once again no knockdowns, no elims, and 1 placement point. So things not starting off too well for them.
Yeah, that Method squad needs to turn things around pretty quick there. Obviously, it is only the start of the tournament, so they have some time to turn it around, but you don't want to be giving away too many games for free.
No, you really don't. And like we said earlier, I mean, if you weren't here at the start of the stream, we played 24 games in the group stage, eliminate the bottom 8, 24 in the semifinals, eliminate the bottom 8. So then we have 16 teams for the last 10 games for the regional finals. So there's still a lot of games yet to be played. Each team out of those 24 will play 18 games, I believe. So Method still have 16 games to turn it around, but I think that's 2 16ths or a 15th and a 16th, something like that with no kills. They're going to want to turn it around.
They certainly will want to turn it around, and we will find out if they can in just a moment, but we're going to go to a break right now.
Providing a lot of suppressing fire. Now he gets onto the bike and bitch, that was a big mistake. Shouldn't have got onto the bike because he will be shot upon by Simple. I think he was kind of just gunning or thinking that because he got on the bike, he might not commit to the fight. It's very small for him. He should be able to escape, but no, the cars might be exploding here as Clue tries to run the heck out of there, but Salty Beast is trying to shoot the car and will explode. And Clue is out of there. Couple of players left. It's actually Nagasaki. Yeah, Nagasaki is there.
It's a hide and seek game right now. Like everybody, like, where is that guy? Like he's like, I'm chilling. Like everything's good. Like,
yeah, it's all good in the hood as Euphoria is all alone. Nagasaki is their player, but he has been
look,
found.
they're
by
not finding him.
No, they don't know where he's at. Okay, they found
finally.
him. Finally, they found him. So it will be IF. Those kills, leaving SSG with just 1 player still very much alive. But he's towards the edge of the circle right now. They're peppering another team here. ABS is in a lot of trouble as C9 just raining down hell on them. And they are hiding behind the tree lines. But as you can see, Hector is coming in from behind as well. He has no cover fire whatsoever.
He's still alive, especially SSG, which were champions, like not to start on the first match and not to start on the second match also. But we have JMN right here pushing on. Let's see if they can take the kill.
Arnate hiding inside the house or hiding inside the toilets here. He will be taken down and will be knocked on his feet. And he will be taken out as well. That getting that kill. So 6 Angry Men getting a couple of kills in their favor. Getting 1 at least.
2 games down in the North American region of PMCO 2019. Having a look at groups C and D. My name is Brainstorm. I am joined, as always, by Smash, my lovely friend. I didn't have another adjective for you this time, but I will work on
lovely.
it.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't think I've used lovely yet, so I can get away with it, right?
You can. Yeah, you can.
We'll get there.
I'll let you have that one.
Thanks, mate.
It's fine. But yeah, we are seeing C and D, Group C and D. We had A and B yesterday for the North America region. We didn't cover that, unfortunately, but we heard it was a banger. Cloud9, Tempo Storm up in the top of the pops there.
Problem is, though, we missed those games.
Yeah, and there was
unfortunately for
high
us
kill games too.
and for everyone at home, there's an easy way to catch up. If
Is
you
there?
go to the PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel and you subscribe, Ben, you can go catch up on those games, which I need to do that, actually.
I'm not going to do that tonight,
I
actually.
need to go catch up on those games, because like Cloud9, I think, got double first and double third, something like that. And
Yeah.
34 kills, so I need to go back and rewatch that. But you can go do that, and also, of course, if you do want to play PUBG Mobile, then you can download it from the Google Play Store or the iOS App Store, depending on your platform and what you're playing on. So there you go. It's how you can keep up to date with everything and how you can get involved with the PUBG Mobile action if you like that sort of thing, which, let's be honest, you're watching the stream, you probably do like that sort of thing. So 2 games down now. We head into Miramar and then Erangel again for the second time. 2 different teams getting chicken dinners thus far. No one really in the top 3 twice, I don't think.
No consistent winners just yet, but there has been 2 island circles, and we want to make it 3 for 3. We want those Eastern
Please
Islands.
give us the Miramar Island circle.
Player unknown, wherever you are, give us those Eastern Islands.
That way, apparently. He's out there.
I don't think the Netherlands is actually that way. I believe he's in the Netherlands, but I don't.
Check.
I'm just not sure. We need a compass. I need a compass now. Production?
Yeah, can we get a compass? No. Anyway, we move into Miramar next. And just to explain, if you have just joined us, the island circles, we had a military base circle in map 1 in Erangel. We just had a northwestern island circle in Sanhok. Those are pretty big islands, right? Like, it's pretty unlikely. It's uncommon to have circles there, but they're still pretty big stretches of ground to end up on. The Miramar Islands are tiny.
They are.
It is incredibly unlikely that we'll end up on them, but you know what, I believe. Let's have another island circle. Let's do it.
So now the Sanhok one's a bit more common just because of this, the map is a bit smaller and that Sanhok island is quite sizable, whereas the military island is about, I don't know, you'd have to say 10-15% chance. It's pretty low. The Miramar one, that's in the single digits, I'd say. That's a very low percentage.
Like those islands are the size of a compound, probably. They're smaller than some of the towns on the map.
They are smaller than most of the towns on the map. They're about the size of San Martin, maybe? But as we see the plane go across east to, well, northwest. Sorry, he's going west
heading northeast.
It is heading northeast from the west as we see the plane getting painted again in the Let's Rock colors. That seems to be the theme of this lobby. So someone is painting that plane, getting up there and giving it a good spray.
It's pretty dangerous to do if you're actually flying in the plane, but I guess when you're planning on jumping out of it anyway, it doesn't really... It's not much more dangerous to be crawling on the outside of it to paint it. That's how that works, right?
No, well, yeah, exactly. These guys are wild.
Either way, we've seen our first team out of the plane. First 2 teams actually getting out very early on. As
Pittsburgh Knights actually have jumped out pretty early, so still 45 or 46 players in the cabin waiting to go as the plane has only gone about, I'd say, a third of its distance, and now we see players spew out over the top of San Martin and that power grid area. So we could see a lot of contesting around the Picardo, maybe the players going to San Martin itself. Hacienda del Patron is also a popular area to go. Made popular by the player Shroud when this map came out. He used to drop there all the time.
Actually, when I was watching some PUBG stuff in preparation for coming over and casting, I did happen upon a Shroud video and Hacienda just getting like 20 side kills.
Oh, it was, yeah, I remember me and my mates tried to recreate that all the time. We dropped there all the time. No.
I tried it a couple times. I think the best I did was I got a shotgun and got 2 knocks and then just got assault rifled out of existence.
Yeah, that's generally how the way things happen. Oh, it's an eastern circle, but it's not eastern enough.
No, it can go more east, believe.
It would be statistically a massive anomaly for this circle to shift southeast enough for the island to be in play. So we see a lot of towns still in play. I mean, Picardo's still in play. It is on the western side of the circle, so it's highly unlikely that happens. Hacienda del Patron on the south or the northwestern side, as I am having difficulties with my directions today. Los Leones still in it. La Bandita is the central town.
Have we talked about the Gladiator Bowl that's in this town, by the way? We just
Monte?
saw it on ABADDON's screen.
Yeah, Monte Nuevo has a Gladiator Bowl.
I mean, the whole map is a Gladiator Bowl, but I like they've got a smaller one.
Yeah, I've
There you
never
go.
seen a circle actually end on that.
God, that would be so cool. I mean, it kind of looks like the middle of that is a hole, so I'm not sure how well that would work.
It's like it is a bowl essentially. So it's quite intense.
I want to see
a
that
knock
now. That'd be
already.
so cool.
Is that the method guys getting knocked already?
No, please no. Oh, come on, it is 2.
Oh,
Not again,
fellas.
boys.
That's all right. 3 players that are
Hate to
alive.
see
They can still make it work. I've seen teams come back from worse situations than that.
They're having a pretty terrible run, though, unfortunately for them. And I wonder how much of it, I haven't actually been paying close enough attention to where they've been dropping. I wonder how much of it is hot dropping or getting hot dropped or unfortunate looting. I mean, it's whether it comes down to a string of bad luck or whatever it is, it's still unfortunate to see for those method boys as down to 3 players already. Whereabouts are they? Over in the middle of the circle.
They are essentially in the middle of the circle. They drop near V2K. There is actually a big, wide open area in this circle of north of Los Leones. There is a lot of real estate in that area, as most teams are stuck on the western side. So teams on the west need to either rotate in, or there's going to be a massive gunfight in that area, as HQA are occupying San Martin at the moment, spread out with SL still there. That's St. Leones. St. Legends, actually.
St.
not
Legends. Los
St.
Leones,
Legends.
St. Legends, you know how
Yep.
it is. GRUNTo is sitting up in the very northeast of the map.
They're avoiding gunfights.
Yep.
Maybe they can play for
I mean,
some
they went out in
placement
15th, I think, last game with Method
Yeah.
in 16th, so they don't want to go down early again. So they are not too far from the circle. They do have some time to play with to stay in the clear and hopefully not get knocked out early. See the Pittsburgh Knights and Team Totality potentially heading for another clash here.
Team Totality. These are our 2 winners from the first 2 games too, Team Totality and the Pittsburgh Knights. So I don't see them. They could actually be crashing into this power grid. I'm not sure how many Pittsburgh Knight players are actually there. Looks like they are spread out all over the place at the
It
moment.
might just be the one.
So it could only just be the one. And if he's caught out,
Oh, he could actually catch
he's actually in the open. He's made a run for it. Gunfire does go down. This player on board, we are on board with now, HH24, the guy that got a mad flank last game. He only has a shotgun, but this Pittsburgh Knight player, Vigilantes,
If Vigilante goes inside the building, then all of a sudden that
That
shotgun is
shotgun,
entirely viable. If they end up in an indoor fight in close quarters, the shotgun's one of the best weapons you could want to have in there. But
mind you, we've
looks
seen
like Vigilante will be backing off. And yes, we have seen. I think you're going to go for the
double
shotgun
barrel,
snipes.
yeah,
Yep.
double barrel yesterday. Felt like it was an M24.
It's hitting some serious range. Jagger
like-
now has rolled in for support as well. Actually, no, not even support. I think he's just being a taxi service at this point. He's just going to pick his mate up and bail.
Yeah, it
There
does
you
look
go.
like that is the play at the moment. There is another Pittsburgh Knight player to the south, but I don't know if they're going to choose to go in on this engagement. The Pittsburgh Knight player might have actually fired a few shots there. So it looks like Jagger and Vigilante are just choosing to get out of it.
Quick point of clarification, Smash. What would you call this vehicle type?
Oh, it's a ute, mate.
Good. Good man. Good
Yeah.
man. Just because I just realised we're doing North America. And North Americans would call this a pickup. But
It's
in
pickup,
Australia, where
true.
we're from, it's called a ute, mate. So you've got to deal with that localisation because calling it a pickup is wrong.
It's a mighty tridey.
Right, it might actually be. I'm not even sure what we would call. Do we have any? Would we use the word pickup for anything in terms of vehicles? I don't think we would.
No, I wouldn't.
Just a ute.
No,
Short
they
for
definitely call it
utility vehicle or something. I guess I don't
Yeah,
actually know. It's a ute.
they call it a pickup truck.
That's the clip of doing that. Shell is from.
I was just
Shows a
angry.
lot of
I was
North
just angry at a
Americans.
lot of North American people.
Find Ben on Twitter at SmashShouts if you'd
Yep.
like to express your opinions of that. Either way, this 8DP Gold guy is coming under a bit of pressure from Wildcard at some decent range and going for the confirm now.
Oh, he got the
Unfortunately,
headshot
helmet
too,
off.
actually.
Helmet off, has had his helmet taken off by a bullet.
Yeah, if he even had one on. That was a headshot from a long distance with that 3x scope. My least favourite scope in the game, the 3x.
Just the awkward amount of magnification.
Yeah, it is
Not
an awkward
far
amount.
enough,
The
but
crosshair is disgusting too, so...
yeah. It's like it's
Gross.
zoomed out enough that it's not good for long range battles, but still too close for comfortable close range use.
Looks like Alucard has the better scope, the Frankie 4x. That's one of my favourites, a Frankie.
Frankie. What?
Just sees the clipping in the bag there.
But shooting someone in the backpack isn't normally lethal unless they've got grenades in there.
Yeah, well, he could have a few grenades in there. It is that type of game. And grenades are pretty handy. If he pops a smoke in there, it'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? Imagine if you could do
That'd be
that.
so much fun if you could actually
Shoot
do that.
someone's
Just like
backpack.
shoot someone's grenades or whatever. That car will be blowing up in just a second here as well, but I think he'll be safe behind the rock, and it's just got some healing off as well. And that 8DP Gold player, EZ. Sorry to be more Australian about it.
That is, yep, EZ is the Australian pronunciation of that.
Wildcard still want to fight this one as well, but they are not the only teams looking to capitalize on this advantage, or on this fight, I should say. So, need to be
The gun he's
a little
using,
bit careful.
the Mutant, it sounds quite cool, and it feels quite cool, but I don't think it's actually that great. As we see Nox going in, that is some more players going down. HQA guys, they were in San Martin, I believe, finding some Nox onto St. Legends. There's 8. Oh, they're getting peppered so hard. This man is stuck behind this rock. He needs a fella to go pick him up with a truck. But it's not happening. He's actually going on a bit of a flank with it. So the hero play, or the solo play from 8DP, he is going on this wild flank. He's only got a UMP though. What's on his back? An M4 or a Mutant? So it looks like a Mutant maybe. It's an extended.
That's what matters. A bit more range than that UMP is going to have. Still though, a bit of work to do for himself as he's trying to flank out Wildcard, essentially solo, and they of course were shooting at his truck as it went by, so they should know that he could be around here.
Wildcard have only left like 1 or 2 players here to watch at the moment, as the rest have kind of rotated in. So we can see that they've split up a lot. Alucard is very far away from his team, but that is MVP getting another knockdown, and that might have been the player that was flanking. In fact, it was actually the player that was flanking, so everything has gone wrong for the side of 8DP Gold. As the player actually has moved from that rock, mate, so unlucky there, but Easy is now getting peppered by Alucard on the top of that hill. The shots rain out, nobody's connecting too much, but he's getting shot from multiple angles as the Convi van comes into play. Getting into the Volkswagen there.
Here we go, Circle about to shift as well as the zone
Another
finally
ATP play
touches the
knocked.
edges, and it's going to shift south, which leaves a lot of teams in the open, and crucially, this entire engagement we've been watching is now outside the circle, so all of a sudden Wildcard have some motivation to end this one a little bit quickly and get a move on.
So that's the knock going into the third 8DP player, I believe, and the thirst will come through fairly soon. 8DP finding themselves in a rough situation to start this game as a player just runs into the middle of the open to go catch him. Bit of loot, sticky fingers, quick pickups. It's actually impressive how quick you can pick stuff up in this game.
Gotta go fast. Gotta
Won't catch me
fast.
bending down that quick. As the Tribe guys get a nice early knock on to the Blood and Loyalties. That fight is breaking out somewhere as 8DP Gold down to this one last player. He has managed to get away in the combi van, but that vehicle is not optimal for this part of the game. I'd prefer to have a bike.
What about a sidecar bike?
No, sidecar bikes are rubbish.
Not great. We've seen a few people have some significant difficulties with those already. They're quite unstable. Ironically, it has 3 wheels. I think it'd be more stable than an actual bike, but far less.
You ever seen Mr. Bean? His car had 3 wheels and he was constantly on his
No, he
side.
didn't. The blue car that he liked to tip over had 3 wheels.
Yeah.
His Nemesis car had 3 wheels.
That's,
His car was
that's right, that's right.
The green Mini that had 4. The Robin Reliance little deal was the one that he just liked to troll as much as possible, essentially.
That's a
Revenant's going to have a
first.
player confirmed as well.
V2 taking one out. The car blow up actually gets one of the players on the side of GRUNTo down. More struggles for that GRUNTo team. They might be able to get the resurrection, or the revive here, I should say, as he's not actually dead. Get the revive. They are back 4 strong. Got some decent loot here too, actually. Got a Mini 14, a level 3 helmet, 2 level 3 helmets, a level 3 vest on the player that did go down. That car explosion doesn't damage the vest, doesn't get mitigated by the vest either. Which is part of the problem there.
Well, it's a bulletproof vest, not a car explosion-proof vest, mate.
Explosions aren't quite deadly.
Can't really market things for what they don't do.
That's
I think
true.
an explosion-proof vest is just like a cubic meter or
It's bloody
three-
heavy, that's what it would be.
3.5 cubic feet, I think, is how that would work in Imperial. Catered to our North American viewers of bubble wrap. That's an explosion.
But you reckon bubble wrap, mate? It'll burn through the bubble wrap. It'll melt onto you.
Probably would, actually. I'm not going to recommend that.
That'd be rubbish.
Just pro tip for everyone watching at home: don't be
bubble
next to
wrap
exploding cars.
Yeah, just don't do it. Just go away from the car. Walk away. Or blow it up yourself as Wildcard gets knocked out of the car.
Our car explosions even real. Anyway, that aside,
We see some excellent driving here. Oh.
how does that car
I don't
turn
think
that quickly?
cars work like that.
I'm not sure. That was some
We've seen
serious
some-
traction.
Some Harry Potter magic here.
Didn't realize cars would stick to the floor that hard, but there you go.
It's got the
Unnamed
Pirellis
still
on.
with a couple of players moving around in their vehicles. Might try and put some shots into the wildcards. Wait, hold on, I'm just flashing back. It's got some what on?
Pirellis. They're a brand of tyre.
Thank you so much. I was like, what is a Pirelli and what relevance does that have?
They used it in Formula 1, they grip.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, when we said last game that I saw a Formula 1 team get like a sub 2 second pit stop, that was my knowledge of Formula 1
right,
exhausted.
yeah.
That's all I had. So, yeah, look, I wish it could be more useful, but either way, the Unnamed taking some pressure now. One of their players gets knocked right on the edge of that zone. Bucky will be looking for that res. The combi's going to charge in as well.
I wouldn't call it charging in, limping in is what I describe
It's doing its best, all right? It's certainly tried to charge.
Yeah, it definitely did. It gave it a
Just
great
imagine like a
hold
really, really quiet version of Flight of the Valkyries playing.
Flight of the Valkyries on recorder or something, maybe, as we see. As we see Wildcard get a knock and a flush onto Team Unnamed.
Look at the circle shift as well. Very, very central. A lot of teams actually already inside that circle. Only 5 teams, by the look, 6 teams maybe who are going to actually make the rotation. But it's also worth noting at this point, we currently sit at 13 minutes in, 55 alive. No team has been knocked out yet.
There are a few solos as TT are getting picked apart by Tribe. Tribe lost a few members too, though, so everyone's taking a bit of damage. And we see this fight that's going on at the moment. Team Unnamed, they are in the far northern side, so they are nowhere near the zone. They're actually the furthest out as we see them try and rotate, getting into that muscle car. Sounds beautiful, but
It's not a combi though, mate. Come on. Where's the real start points here?
yeah. You don't want to be moving around in that combi, but looks like he's going to stop and they're all going to pile into this one car. That 8DB Cold player is in the far north. He is alone. Pick him up. Come on.
There we go.
There we go.
Got to make sure you get all the boys in. That was some synchronized leaning.
Yep. But this is a rough situation for Team Unknown, all being in that same vehicle. If they get sprayed down, there's no roof on that car either, so you're pretty vulnerable. Don't want to be doing that for too long, as this is the side
ABADDON, I believe.
ABADDON and Blood and Loyalty.
Once again, another
Poking
duel
at each other.
between these guys.
Yeah, they do seem to like to find each other in the map. And this is obviously on the southern side of the circle near Los Leones.
Looks like the majority of our teams have made it inside the circle now. Still, last player from ATP only just getting a move on now. And
It's all
should
kicking off
make
up
it
north
inside.
though. Team Unnamed, Wildcard, G6, they're all kicking off on that northern side of the circle. All of them are trying to infiltrate the same area. Fellas, if you just go to the south a little bit, there's plenty of real estate. But they haven't scouted that out, and they are in a big firefight. ABADDON. We're on board with ABADDON though. They are sneaking around the rocks. As we see,
in a pretty difficult situation, to be honest. They're pinned at the bottom of this gully. They can't really get out by going up the hill because there's another team right above them. They do have good cover for now, but can't really move too far just yet.
So we see Pittsburgh Knights actually getting a few kills there. Team Totality go out. So they were our previous winners. They go out to the Pittsburgh Knights, wiping them. So on board with Wildcard in this situation where there are a lot of fellas in the same vicinity. And they are angry. They're ready to rumble as Team Unknown are pushing in with the blue. G6 have a good idea that they're there. They've probably seen them on the fence line, ducking and weaving and peeking and poking. Raven, one of our kill leaders, I believe he is equal first with 7.
Circles shifted north once again, by the way, and that leaves the Pittsburgh Knights in a pretty good position, already central inside. The majority of the teams still in the lobby will have to make a run into this circle.
Pittsburgh Knights definitely in the driver's seat of this game at the moment. Tribe could get a nice little backstab flank on them, but they are only 3 strong. That northern side is still popping off as we're still seeing it. There's so many teams in this area. They don't have to move too far as this nade. It looks good as the players might run into it.
They might actually. It looks like one just has.
It does.
Doesn't actually take as much damage as I would have thought from a frag grenade landing squarely on his skull, but Raven needs to be careful here. He is one of our kill leaders. He did have a good game last map, but if he goes in here, sure, in the immediate instance, he's one-on-one. But the rest of G6 would surely come back to support Yayo here, and Raven's decided it's not worth it for now. He's going to fall back, find the rest of his teammates. Meanwhile, the B21 guy's going to get themselves a couple of knocks.
Team Unknown, one of the players has been knocked out. He should be safe though behind that fence line. While this has all been going on, Wildcard have rotated away from this engagement.
Me, that's 2 players incredibly low.
Some good spraying there, but not quite enough to get the knocks. And I believe it's only 1 Team Unknown player left across. As more frags go out. V2 are getting peppered hard on that eastern side of the... GRUNTo are in the mixture there as well. They're getting knocked out. HQA are there too. This is is a big fight. MVP from Wildcard gets one off from the V2 guys. GRUNTo are now 3 men down. One remaining for them. They've got 0 kills.
G6 busy putting up a smoke wall as well for themselves, trying to move in and clean up the Unnamed here. Got a couple smokes to work with, both theirs and the Unnamed boys, who chucked a couple down to get the heals happening on their 2 players who were tagged low on that cross. Revenant even getting themselves a few frags, but here we go then. G6 looks like they want to force the issue. They'll take the first hut and they look to get in. They're even going to go for the crash in the buggy there. Yayo goes straight in, very hard indeed, and trying to bait out the rest of the Unnamed into peeking out to his teammates, but unfortunately he's going to get knocked. That's a reconfirm as well, but no, the spray comes through. The Unnamed now starting to get things happening and going their way. Trades both directions. The Unnamed going for the push, trying to clean this one up. Looks like there's only 1 player left. That'll be the knock and the elimination as well onto G6. They went for the compound crash and they did get shut out of it.
They only lost 1 player too, and Raven picking himself up a few kills there, so he'll keep climbing up the leaderboard. As ABADDON were actually knocked out there. Cleaned up. This on board now with Blood and Loyalty Gang as they are on the eastern side of the circle. MVP from Wildcard has picked up 5 kills already, and there's 36 players alive. God, if he can keep that pace and momentum up, he's going to have a big game.
He's indeed. Fan is here from Blood and Loyalty here. It's up. Got some trees and some bushes to hide in. He's also got the combi van to get away from things here, but some fire coming his way. He needs to be a bit careful. Yeah,
this B2W squad is getting some nice angles on these Blood and Loyalty gamers. They've lost a player. He's been thirsted, so Blood and Loyalty are limping now. They are walking wounded, and their rotation is not pretty to try and get into this circle. They have teams all around them.
Especially because this circle is just about to move again. The blue zone has nearly touched our current circle, which means we are about to shift, and it's very central. Again, Pittsburgh Knights, this circle is being very nice to them. The last couple of moves have all been directly on top of them. I believe that was the play zone knocking out Blood and Loyalty there as well.
Yeah, they've finished up as one of the Pittsburgh Knight players actually gets confirmed down and gone, so that's only now 3 of them remain as V2 get knocked 2. There's more players going down to the blue starting to bite a bit back. HQA and GRUNTo battling on that eastern side of the map. GRUNTo still in the game, same as Method. Method too strong, GRUNTo too strong. So a better game for these 2 squads. As the spray comes in, Tribe has managed to find an angle on these guys.
That's for Memo.
That is 1 player left at the moment, or 2 players left at the moment for that B2W squad, and they're taking, oh, there's 3 actually alive, so this player has managed to get out. Parker managed to find an alternate angle.
Parker was the last B2W player last game as well. He was hanging around until the final couple of circles there, so hopefully he can do similar things this game, get some placement points happening, but now it's Method grabbing themselves a knock onto another of those MTW players. Tribe now in their cars rotating out. They're rotating between 2 teams here. This is going to be rough. They'll crash all their cars into each other because that's more efficient than braking, but there's teams on both sides now. They've got some smokes out to try and get some cover for themselves, and fortunately with the 3 cars here, they do have a bit of cover they can work with. They're actually getting some decent shots onto these same Legends players as well.
These Tribe gamers, they don't mess around. They're pretty good.
That said, there's 3 cars over there that could all chain react if they shoot them. Big
yeah,
explosions.
that's very true. And the grenades are going to be coming out too, so this could be big grenades coming through. Doesn't explode on those cars. The star goes through, tries to explode a few more cars. We see the alive leaderboard here. Nobody has 4 players. Everyone is walking wounded. Everyone's hurt a little bit. These are the Pittsburgh Knights in probably the best position as with players from St. Legends try and push up, but pushing straight into that gunfire. They're all dropping so low. One of them does get knocked. Tribe though, they're getting traded in return. One of those players goes down, so it's a 3v3 or 2v2 now. As the spray burst through the smoke almost collects another.
The good thing for Pittsburgh Knights here as well is that they don't really have to fight anyone. All of the knocks they're getting and the kills they're getting are just long-range pokes. In the center of this circle, they can pretty much just wait for the rest of the lobby to come to them. They're just happy to let everyone fight at this point.
You can see Vigilante on camera at the moment. He is just moving around with his mini, scouting out what is the edge of the circle, essentially. Finding these weakened teams that have been killing each other and picking up as many as he can. And we see more of this is happening as Tribe now getting angled as a beautiful headshot comes out from downtown. That is
very long range for a snipe there, but got the M24, so they'll be able to hit it. And the circle, finally the circle doesn't gift Pittsburgh Knights perfectly. I mean, they're still inside this circle, but at least it's not centered on them for once.
Yeah, they're going to have to worry about the teams pushing in behind them, but apart from that, they're sitting okay. I think they'll leave one player to watch the back, watch the flank.
Revenant and Wildcard also coming in on this eastern side of the circle. So the rest of the teams will be coming in behind Pittsburgh Knights or to the south. BTW will be coming from the south as well. Tribe yet to make their move. Still got 20 seconds before the blue zone starts to move once again. And ooh, that was almost another really good shot there. Ran with the snipes for the Unnamed, is doing some decent damage here.
He's got himself up to 5 kills as well, 8 total for the squad. So they're having a big game. If they can finish off this strong, they're gonna. That's a big chicken dinner in waiting if they can get the kill. That 8 DP gold player, by the way, has been the solo for a very, very long time. So he's been snaking very well. We saw some good snakes yesterday in the wildcard region. Seeing more today. It's Pittsburgh Knights. They're just scouting around, trying to find out where these teams are, where they can rotate in safely. The 8-time scope comes out onto the mini. Ernie 8 times. He's not.
Do you have a name for all of these scopes?
Yeah, I actually do.
Okay.
It's comical, but
I like it. I like it.
Yep.
When you said Freddy 4 times, I was thinking back like, I picked up 4 times. I didn't say Freddy on it.
Frankie 4.
Sorry, Frankie. I was sitting there like, I swear these things don't have these labels on in the game. But
Team Unknown getting peppered by the Pittsburgh Knights as they try and rotate in towards the circle.
And that buggy still hasn't exploded either, so that could be the pre-confirmed. They shoot the car. And look at how much damage they're doing at range here. Vigilante with the mini, as you say, he's got a long-range scope on it still, and able to just sit in their compound and pepper the rest of the field. They're just picking everyone off at this point. Revenants still have 3 up, but nobody else. That'll be a free confirm.
Pittsburgh Knights. They're living the dream at the moment. It is Revenants as the only team with 3 alive. Tribe have 1 knocked. They can choose to resurrect that player, and they will. Oh, that's not what you would do. Get out of there!
Oh, he almost shut the door on himself too. That was scary, but he'll be okay.
That would have been very embarrassing.
Door gets blown off, but it's alright. Don't need a door when you can shoot out windows. And he knows there's multiple players of Tribe up here, and the play zone comes in at just the wrong moment there. It's going to be very difficult for Tribe now. This play zone, as you can see, looking at his health bar, the play zone in these late stages does so much damage, they're all just going to get knocked from it.
Yeah, they are. They're not going to give the kills to the Pittsburgh Knights. They know the Pittsburgh Knights are in that compound waiting as the nade gets cocked, but
he's going to try and steal it from the play zone.
I don't think your arm is that big.
I reckon he might be close.
He fell well short. Vigilante showing maybe he needs to go work on his nade skills a bit.
Look, I like the idea though. If you know they're going to sit in the play zone, they're already going to be super weak. If you can land a nade on them, you can get yourself 2 or 3 kills for free. But
on board with Revenant now, as they're 3 strong. They have a decent position. There are lots of cover on this ridge line. The last play from Tribe is just over the top, and they have found him. So Tribe will go down into 5th place.
So it's between the Revenants and the Pittsburgh Knights essentially at this point. The Unnamed still with 2, so in with a shot, but Pittsburgh Knights have been holding onto these compounds in the middle for so long, just poking at everybody. They've got 8 kills for their team already, 5 on J7 there. So they've been having a very good game, very comfortable here, and their compounds are still in the edge of this circle. Somehow the circle continues to shift onto Pittsburgh Knights. It's going to force everyone into their fortified positions.
The Pittsburgh Knights know where Team Unnamed is at the moment. Their threat is this side of Revenant as the window peak comes out. He doesn't manage to get it. He does have that level 3 helmet on Tanker. As I mentioned before, he is the tanker of this team.
He's also going to get himself a nice brown ghillie as well out of the crate. He's going to be pushing in actually. Just wants to try and make the play using the cover of the smokes. If he can pick off a couple of players here, then
one of the Revenant got kicked off, and I don't think they're going to be able to go for that resurrection there or the revive.
They have found one of the Pittsburgh Knights players, though, and that's J7, who's been their highest fragger so far this map. They've got to be a little bit careful here, the Knights. That's
the second one down. That's Jagger too.
Yeah,
Team Unknown is causing a big problem here for the Pittsburgh Knights, and the resurrection might try and come in, or the revive might come in. The nade's been cocked. He's going to try and throw it through this window up the stairs. That could be 3. Where did it go? On the bottom floor.
Yeah,
he didn't get the nade up the hole.
Got in the cover, so they will be able to get the reses, but if that had been the nade, that could have been it. As it is, I think Pittsburgh Knights will be okay to get their 3 reses and stay in it. Revenants, in the meantime, have lost 1, and maybe another. The solos starting to put in the damage now. Illusion's the last remaining player from Wildcard, is making things difficult for the Revenants here. He's also going to go grab this crate on his way through, so never mind, actually doesn't touch it, but could have. Either way, still a pretty close game here. The Pittsburgh Knights could have been all out of this within the last 30 seconds, but they managed to get the reses off. Unfortunately for them, Revenant left them alone for long enough to do that.
Got the VSS in there. This is getting the spray onto that man in the ghillie suit, but doesn't manage to get the full kill on him. He's going to use the first aid. He might just be able to get it off. He will take a lot of damage. This is the last player from Wildcards. He'll need to move forward.
1 nade in that hut would confirm Revenants.
This Wildcard player is giving Revenant a really hard time, and Pittsburgh Knights finally finish him off. There's only one player alive from Revenant, 3 up from the Pittsburgh Knights. They almost fell. They managed to get the revives through.
Unfortunately, there's nothing they can do about that revive. Doesn't look like they have any nades, or else they would have thrown them in already.
He's running onto the bottom floor. There's a player out here waiting for him. He gets the spray.
Out the window. Oh my goodness, very risky indeed. Pittsburgh Knights commit all 3. 2 of them have been knocked. This could be the 1v3 here for Ryan. He could take out the entire team. It's not, though. There is enough time for the revives to come on through. Unless
but they've seen those 2 knocks and now they want to force it.
Exactly that. They're going to charge straight out here. This could be Pittsburgh Knights going down. Indeed, it should be at this point.
Oh, he went for the thrust!
Somehow loses control of that. Tanker's left on so low HP. He will have time to get that res off. And it actually looks like both teams at this point want to call a little bit of a truce, get some healing happening before this final fight. But Pittsburgh Knights, I almost feel like just go for one res, leave the other, and try and clean up these guys.
Yeah, it looks like Vigilante is trying to get back to his team for that revive. He might have been able to go for a bit of information there to find out what was going on. Jagger runs over the corner. Oh, no, he's been picked off. Will he get thirsted? He won't. He's pushing around the corner, and the ghillie suit, and it is going to be the Pittsburgh Knights falling into second there. It is Revenant finishing off 7 kills for Espinoza. He actually went hard that game.
That said, though, Pittsburgh Knights with 10 kills in second place. They do pretty well for themselves, but man, a very back and forth final fight. I actually thought Pittsburgh Knights would get the better of that, but they didn't actually get that third res. That was the problem for them. They had one player. I mean, what I thought would happen is when Jagger went wide out around the building, he was buying time, not only getting some info, maybe some damage, but buying time for his teammates to get the revive, so there'd still be 2. They didn't get that revive, so as soon as the one player goes down, peeking around that corner, that was it. I thought they'd have another player who could have got the trades, but unfortunately they couldn't get the revive off, and Revenants will run away with it. Somehow they snatched it at the last moment.
No, it's good play from the Revenants. They were in a position there and they worked it well. They did get flanked by that Wildcard player that was a thorn in their side, a pain in the bum. And they managed to deal with him eventually. They come out with the chicken dinner. They were very close to dropping out there. They were in that hut so low. They didn't have any sort of grenades, no smoke grenades to help them push out. But Team Unknown, or Unnamed, sorry, they did a favor by taking out some of the Pittsburgh Knights players, weakening them, wounding them. And this was the closing moments of that game. It could have been a very close spray down there.
Yeah, and see, this is where, I thought when Jason went out wide here, his teammates, or he might have res teammate before he did, but unfortunately not. They get taken down from that. And Pittsburgh Knights, I think, a little unlucky to not get away with that one. They had a really strong position for most of those last couple of circles. They had their compound locked down. They were putting out a lot of fire on everyone who was just trying to rotate in. But in the end, it's Revenants who managed to outplay them.
Yeah, it came down to the really final wire, the final moments. That just that clutch decision-making wasn't going the way of the Pittsburgh Knights. They did win their first game in a second place, so that leaves them with a good, strong day one so far. They get 10 kills there. Unnamed gets 11 kills, so they're going to be happy with that performance. But you can see the top 4 in this game, they all got so many kills. 9 kills, 10 kills, 11 kills, and 8. So they'll be very happy with that. And 8DP Gold managed to catch themselves 5 placement points, even though they were down to 1 player at the start. They were the first engagement.
Really soon,
they were taking one. Yeah, so that was really well done by the 8DP Gold players to snake in there. And we see Method, unfortunately, still at the bottom of the pops. No kills for them just yet. We've got one more game to try and right the wrongs. They'll need a big one.
Themselves up a little bit, though.
Yeah, they
1
got
kill, 3 placement points, better than 0-1-1.
Yep, they did a better job this game, but they'll be hoping for a bit more next game. Still not performing to the standard that they would set for themselves. ABADDON going out in last place this game, unfortunately, but someone's got to be there.
Exactly that. And that's really the nature of it. Someone's got to go out in 16th, and unfortunately it's pretty harsh for the bottom end of the leaderboard when we have 5 teams. The first 5 teams out only getting 1 placement point. So there's not a lot to be gained if you do find yourself being set upon early, unfortunately. But that's Miramar done. We do still have one more game of the day. We've got one more Erangel left to be played here for Group C and D of the North American region of PMCO 2019. But before that, a short break. We'll see you back with Erangel right after this.
Providing a lot of suppressing fire. Now he gets onto the bike and bitch, that was a big mistake. Shouldn't have got onto the bike because he will be shot from by Simple. I think he was kind of just gunning or thinking that because he got on the bike, he might not commit to the fight. Very small for him. He should be able to escape, but no, the cars might be exploding here as Clue tries to run the heck out of there, but Salty Beast trying to shoot the car and will explode. And Clue is out of there. couple of players left. It's
Oh,
actually
he doesn't know.
Nagasaki. Yeah, Nagasaki is there.
It's a hide and seek game right now. Like everybody like, where is that guy? Like he's like, I'm chilling. Like everything's good. Like
Yep. It's all good in the hood as Euphoria is all alone. Nagasaki is their player, but he has been found.
they're
by
not finding him.
No, they don't know where he is. Okay,
Ah,
they found
finally.
him. Finally, they found him. So it will be IF. Those skills, leaving SSG with just one player still very much alive. But he's towards the edge of the circle. Right now, they're peppering another team here. ABS is in a lot of trouble as Cena just raining down hell on them. And they are hiding behind the tree lines. But as you can see, Hector is coming in from behind as well. He has no cover fire whatsoever.
Stay alive, especially SSG, which were champions, like not to start on the first match and not to start on the second match also. But we have JMN right here pushing on. Let's see if they can take the kill.
Arnett hiding inside the house or hiding inside the toilets here. He will be taken down and will be knocked on his feet and will be taken out as well. That getting that kill. So 6 Angry Men getting a couple of kills in their favor, getting one at least.
Welcome back to the PMCO Fall Split. We are doing the North American region at the moment, C and D groups. And if you've missed any of the action, you need to get yourself onto YouTube, where you are now, and subscribe to the PUBG Mobile Esports channel. There you can catch all the action, all the highlights, all the VODs of the games that we've been covering. Multiple regions, 6 of them. So there's a lot of stuff to cover. If you want to play PUBG, you need to get onto the Play Store, the Google Play Store that is, and download the app, iOS as well, and it's completely free, so get onto it. Speaking of getting onto it, Pittsburgh Knights have been getting on a bit of a roll. They got second in their last game, first in our first game, and we're going back to the first map. Erangel, you fancy Pittsburgh Knights for this one?
Sure, why not? Let's say so. I mean, they had themselves a pretty good couple of games, right? They got a chicken dinner,
yeah,
they got a second, which could well have been a third, a first even like that.
That was
second
very
game,
close.
The third game even. Third game was very, very close to going their way, but they did lose it out at the very end. Still though, they got themselves a couple kills in second place, so we're pretty happy with that. And then going back onto Erangel, yeah, why not? I mean, we've had, a lot of these regions have had so far one really dominant team. I think North America is the most dominant example that we've seen, at least from what we've watched. We've watched all the regions, of course, but Cloud9 with double chicken dinner, double third place for their placings will be pretty happy with that. Yeah, pretty hard to beat.
I think unless Pittsburgh Knights has an absolute stellar game, I'm talking like a 20-kill chicken dinner. I'm even higher than that. They'd need some big points to get over Cloud9. So it doesn't look like Cloud9 will be, after the first round robin or first game of the groups, they'll be at the top of the pops.
I mean, it did just occur to me that it's not necessary that Cloud9 did get 2 third places. We just kind of assumed that because they had 20
could have got a
placement
second
points.
and like a fifth or something.
Yeah, they could have done. So, yeah, I mean, they got 20 placement points that weren't from chicken dinners. So, look, for narrative, we'll go with double third place until proven otherwise. But either way, they are sitting up on 94 points, I believe, currently. 60 placement points, 34 kills. So, they're sitting pretty. Moving away from that, though, we do have one more game of Group C and D, which is not Cloud9's group, I should say. We're moving back into Erangel now to wait to see exactly where the plane is going to run here. And also, you know, we've got to see if we get the Let's Rock skin on the plane. That's been a thing that's happened.
Well, that's been a thing that's happened consistently. There it is.
And And there's our plane line, east to west across the lower middle of the map.
It looks like it will be everything in play, essentially. There may be Stalber, Kameshki, Severny. Those places might be a bit difficult to reach, but you don't really see teams looting up that way too often.
No.
Stalber is a pretty rare one, same as Kameshki. Severny can be in play sometimes, depending on the playing path, but this playing path does not favor it at all.
And mostly what we've seen when we've seen anything up north is like we've seen a bit of Zaki, teams at the shooting range around there, moving down to Georgia Pole, but we haven't really seen too much in the northeastern corner at all so far, and we've seen, what, this is our 6th Erangel that we've watched now?
This will be our 6th or 8th. Yeah, who knows at this point? Actually, I think it is 8th. Yeah, it is 8th. So 8th Erangel, no northeastern circles just yet. Maybe this game will break the hoodoo though, as the circle will be popping momentarily, as most of the plane is out now. A lot of players dropping over the top of Pachinki. They will spread out, go to the winds, find themselves their loot zones.
I want to see if we have anyone on the military island. There's normally 1 or 2 teams who do it, and last time we had a military island circle.
It seems like Team Unknown are heading down there at the moment. Maybe they are going to stop off at Milta or that bridge area where there's a little bit of loot to go around. Like maybe looking for a car.
St. Legends heading down that way too, maybe ABADDON as well, and you've called it, Ben, is what you've done. It's a northeastern circle.
It is. It's ending up... Yasnaya is probably the most central city located there. Stalber still in the zone. If it's a Stalber circle, it becomes very messy because there's a lot of defilade there, a lot of trees. It's a big hill, essentially, the second biggest on the map. Yasnaya does have some water above it, so... chances are it tries to rotate away from that. We could end up with a Yasnaya circle, a southern one, in the fields around there. That would be good fun. There's a lot of good circles that we could end at here, actually, now that I think about it. Lots of open field, open spaces. I like to see those ones because that's when you get the big spray down moments of like a player snaking around in the grass. He stands up and he sprays 3, gets them all, and it's really hype. It's also a good grenade play as well, as there's not many rocks or obstacles to block those grenades. As we play fan out and loot and rotate around, there's been no action so far, which is quite surprising. We've seen a lot of teams go down early in the North American region. They don't mind getting their hands dirty one bit.
That said, we don't really have too many teams that close to each other. There is a pretty big combination. I don't even know what word I was trying to go for there. Combination maybe of teams.
Conglomerate.
Something like that. There's a lot of teams around Pachinki and slightly to the east in Pachinki Fields, so I guess that's what I was trying to say. 2 teams have found themselves onto that military island. St. Legends and the Unnamed guys over on the in the east near Novo.
Yeah, there is a team Wildcard at Milta Power 2. They'll have to rotate up eventually. We have TT in Lopovka. They are alone. They're sending one man right into the middle of the circle. So assuming he's got enough loot, he's feeling himself, so he's going to go find that compound to go hide out, and as V2 will get the first knock of the game. And that is actually onto the Pittsburgh Knights, probably our current points leader. Sam going down first of the game. Pittsburgh Knights not off to the start that they're used to on this map.
Not starting off too well for them, but...
ABADDON's actually got a player run over.
Yeah, ABADDON just lost a decent amount as well, and looks like once again we do have a pretty quick start to things here. As we check out the version 2 guys, they've got a compound for themselves and a bit of looting that can be done on their own for now, so they're safe to get some looting happening. These military island guys can't really afford to hang around here for too long, in all honesty. They do have, of course, the entire military island between 2 teams, but 30 seconds or just on until this circle starts to move, or the zone, I should say, starts to move, and the circle being this far north. I mean, it's hard, right, when you're on this military island, because you've got 2 real options. You can rotate early, go with the zone, and of course that means you're not going to take any damage to the zone, all that sort of thing, but you're going to run into or past teams who haven't rotated yet. If you rotate late, which is going to be the safer option, you're going to have to contend with the zone damage, and that's going to be a problem. That'll burn through your meds, all that sort of thing, but you won't have to worry about, like, for instance, right now, if you have a look, well, looking at the map, we can tell you that the Unnamed boys are on the eastern side over near Novo, and directly above the eastern bridge are the GRUNTo guys. So if they do go across that bridge in the next 30 seconds to a minute, then they could run straight into them. But if they delay a little bit and wait through the zone, then their rotate does come that much safer.
Yeah, I think when you get this far circle shift away from you, you have to kind of go in with the zone, because that kind of guarantees that there'll be no teams behind you, because they'll be further into the zone. It doesn't make sense to be behind you essentially in that point. So I think they'll team Unnamed will be going in with the zone at their backs and the players in the front. And if they get held up too long, yeah, they'll get pressured by the zone. But the idea is they managed to sneak in with that zone, knowing that there's no one behind them, and take the fights in front of them. As we see, this is on board with Team Totality. They did win the second game of the day for this C and D group clash. They are pretty solid the way they're looting. They've got a lot of room to move around here. There's no one too close near Yasnaya. Yasnaya now has 2 teams in it. Revenant are there as well.
Circle, or the zone even begins to encroach now. Moving very slowly. The first couple of zones on Erangel are quite slow, as the map is so big, 64 square kilometers. So, fair way for it to go. There's still a lot of time for Team Unnamed, or the Unnamed, I think they are, and Saint Legends to hang out around the military base, make sure they get all the loot that they need. And the good thing about being one of only a couple of teams on the military island is that there is a lot of loot available down there. You should be coming out of it with some level 3 armor, a couple of good weapons per player, all of that sort of thing, the meds, everything you need. So it's worth the risk if you can get down there and loot. We're having a look now at the Pittsburgh Knights as well, rotating away in their vehicles. Looks like they've got multiple vehicles for their team. That's what you want, really. You don't want to have all of your players combined into one to avoid spray down. It's going to crash into this compound, and so too are Tribe.
Tribe are very close by. These are 2 teams that are very good teams. So Tribe actually have a nice angle on them. Pittsburgh Knights have dropped 2 players now in total. Don't know if they're going to be able to get the revive on that player, as he's in a rinky position. More spraying coming down. Pittsburgh Knights have found themselves into a house, but for how long? As there's only 1 player up for Pittsburgh Knights. Tribes are all over them, and he's so low. One of the Tribes players at the door, knocking at the door, and that's Pittsburgh Knights down.
In 16.
Last place.
I love that from Tribe, by the way. I thought they were doing a full-on crash, but it was a 1-person crash. All of the Pittsburgh Knights immediately peek and try and take advantage of that kill, and then the rest of Tribe, who pretty much had the entire compound surrounded, swung out and shot them all down. Nice play from them, nice team play. They potentially could have sacrificed 1 player as the bait, but works out very well either way. They're able to clean up Pittsburgh Knights, and so much for them being able to get a repeat performance.
Yeah, it turns out they couldn't, and they've gone to bed early. As we see a fight here, GRUNTo going on to TT. TT was waiting here already. Haven't got the best loot, as you can see. There's only no scope onto that AK, which is quite hard to aim with the iron sights. That grenade might be good. It's chasing in it. One of the players does get knocked, and another player goes very low. That's 2 knocks straight away for HH24, who has been fragging out all night. GRUNTo going very low. They've had a poor day. There's the Thirsts too, and that's gone. GRUNTo out in 15th place. The day to forget for GRUNTo Esports. They'll want to redeem themselves later on in the tournament, but for now, 4 games done, and not much to write home about for them.
Certainly not. As it's 12 games that each team's play in each stage. I was incorrect earlier, so correction on that one. But it's 12 games in each stage of the 24 that every team will play. So 8 games left now for GRUNTo to get out of the bottom 8. And that's actually a bit concerning that they're a quarter...
Or third of the way through already,
sorry,
yeah.
a third of the way through, and still very much in the bottom 8. They haven't really had any good games. So, of course, still a lot of time for them to pick it up and get back into things here, but a lot of work yet to be done. Either way, they are out of things for this evening. All done from the North American region for Group C and D. Maybe they'll have better luck when they come up against Group A or Group B in the later days, but either way, that zone now getting very close to the circle. These military island guys are only just starting to move now, but this is what I was talking about earlier. Team Unnamed here are coming in well behind the zone, but they're not going to take too much damage from the very first movement of this zone, and there is now nobody at all who's going to stop them rotating in until they are well inside the circle.
Yeah, they've managed to find themselves getting inside the circle, as it does shift northwest, sorry.
Northwest.
So Severny is in play. The
Never
top
eat soggy wheat bix, bro.
Never eat soggy wheat, yeah, that's
I've
it.
done that a few times to remember my north, south, east, west.
So we see Rozhok, the corner of Rozhok still in there. It's unlikely that it does shift, so they're gonna. A lot of teams are gonna have to go north of this little river as well. Severny shooting range in play. Stalba has been eliminated. Half of the hill still in the mix, but probably not enough for the zone to shift down there. So we're going to find ourselves at the back end of Severny for the end of this game, I believe. If I can read the circles correctly. Tribe are finding themselves in a pretty decent position, but a lot of these teams now piling in on top of each other over the top of that bridge separating Yasnaya and Severny. It's going to be a lot of action there as we see SL just waiting for these guys to go past. They are in the blue at the moment, very far. They're still down actually on the military base. G6 now crashing the compound that Pittsburgh Knights died at, as one player gets knocked out as he gets out of the car. Two players down.
The same fate. Tribe are here, and they're going to get their second bunch of kills onto another team here. That's 5 kills for them in total.
Yeah, they only got 3 of the Pittsburgh players as we see some running down going, some TT driving shenanigans as they manage to run over one of the players. Well, Revenant manages to run over one of their TT players. And
We've got the bangers on the radio, ready to go.
yeah, it's important you play tunes when you're in the radio, when you're in the car with your fellas, you know. Keep the
Carl
vibes up.
boys, exactly that. You've got to have the vibes going. SL, St. Legends, still on that military base, moving
More kills for
late
Tribe
here.
from this position.
Exactly that. We're going to get another couple of knocks down here. HQA, fortunately, I don't think they're going to be able to recover that. There you go. Memo will clean it up. That's the 6th kill for Tribe so far, and they still have control of this bridge.
And they don't need to move at all because there is a possibility that this circle shifts just north of them, which they'll still be in, and there's a lot of teams trying to cross that bridge. They've still got, obviously, G6 tried earlier and fell 2 players, and now 1 player from HQA finds out what it's all about, and it is all about Tribe at the moment on this bridge camp. The first successful bridge camp we've seen together.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of attempted bridge camps, but we haven't really seen too many pay off. So, Tribe looking pretty good so far this game. Still early days yet, 51 alive, 14 teams remaining, but they've been responsible for one of the knocks, 1.5 of the team knocks, I guess, that we've seen.
Yeah,
they got rid of all the Pittsburgh Knights, essentially, and half of another team.
TT getting a knock onto ATP. This is north of our location right now. In other news, Method, still in the game. Still 4 players alive. So things are going a lot better for them so far. I don't want to jinx them, but they are in a decent position too. They have a 2-2 split going at the moment as we see ATP push in and get knocked down. Another ATP player for Solo. He's going to drop as well. This is ATP losing a lot of players. TT getting the 2 thirsts there. They should be able to get these revives as well. ATP down to 2 players. They've had a rough day too as well.
They do at least have themselves a decent elevated position to shoot down towards TT here.
Yeah, they're just southeast of Severny, which is quite an advantageous position as the circle might shift down there. That warehouse, getting on top of that warehouse roof is quite potent because you get a lot of vision and you can just duck in between the sides for cover. As we see 1 player up in the rafters actually of that warehouse, maybe waiting for any players to try and push in. If there's a compound crash, he's in position, an off angle. Players won't expect him hiding up in the rafters like a bat. We should see a team called Batman have a pretty decent day the other day. I think that was in the Wildcard maybe, or South America.
Batman were...
I want to say South America.
SA, I think. We've already casted what? This will be the 96 count of teams for us. I think we've casted one.
I believe so, but we have seen a circle shift over the top of Roshok. So this was the south circle shift. It was about as south as you can get. So that favors St. Legends because they were coming in from the south and the circle has basically met them. Team Unknown also was on the right side of the bridge to get greeted there. Tribe are making a very fast rotation into Roshok. They scared everyone off that bridge, so they were able to use it pretty easily. As we see some poor driving from Tanker again. He is the tanker of this team. He doesn't have the level 3s at the moment, but he will be able to get his team across this bridge pretty safely. But Roshok is going to be controlled by Tribe, and that's kind of the key focal point at the moment as the circle has shifted with Roshok bang in the middle of it.
And as long as Tanker can shoot in a straight line, I don't think his team will mind if he can't quite drive in one.
He's heard the car above him. And this is the side...
For Blood and Loyalty.
Yeah, Blood and Loyalty getting pressured out at the moment. Has been found, he'll be thirsted. They'll get themselves a free buggy for that too.
It's good. That means they're not all sitting in the one car anymore. A bit of a diversification for their forces means they're not just going to get blown up if someone.
And that's the rest of Blood and Loyalty.
There goes the rest of Blood and Loyalty as well.
Yeah, they're getting picked up.
They got 1 left, I think.
Yeah, I think they have 1 player on this Yasnaya bridge actually. He's in the middle of a lot of players, so I don't know. I think the next team to go out will be Blood and Loyalty unless something happens, something magic happens. We see HH24 leading the kills at the moment in the lobby. As a spray comes down from B2W. That's a very nice car. What have you got here, mate?
It's a fish.
Yeah, it looks like a fish.
Kinda. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Ah.
HH24, speaking of the man himself, is currently under fire. What, you're not a fan, mate? Look at this thing. Look how aerodynamic. Look how fast.
It's got the old Chevy wings at the back. It's got...
I don't think it's quite the old Chevy wings. It also has a fin on top. I think it's just a fish type thing. I don't know.
It's pretty ugly, actually. I think it's pretty gross.
Alright, well.
Nah, I'm not a fan.
Ah, well, alright.
You can keep the Hot Wheels to yourself.
Smash is just a hater.
Yep. It's true as a grenade flies out, but that's not going to catch.
Ambitious.
As an airball. Yep, he has not landed anything there. As we see, the zone has favoured the teams. It's been a pretty friendly one, actually. I thought that maybe there would be a bit more combat in this zone as teams tried to rotate from north to south. Method still have to rotate from north to south, and I've probably jinxed them because they're in the middle of everybody. As V2 now pick up a knock onto Tribe. That is a fight going on in the middle of Rozhok. So it's going to be hard to finish any kills in that area. As another knock goes out, V2 are putting the hurt onto this Tribe team that has been previously dominating this map with their bridge camp from Yasnaya.
That circle's about to move again.
And it's straight on Rozhok.
Exactly that. It centers over Rozhok now. And pardon me. The next circle should be a southern shift over Rozhok itself, as we are now... Well, we want to get that bit of water out of here, right? We're going to move away from the river most likely. So it's probably going to center on Rozhok here. So version 2 Tribe, those guys sitting pretty. Method are coming in from the north now. And
Team Unknown are probably in the top position at the moment, because if they can get that hill above Rozhok, that's where it's going to shift. It's going to shift south. So if they want to get that hill, they can flush out the rest of St. Legends as the compound crash comes in. The Wizard Tower is under threat. Revenant pushing in. They are being traded though, so they're not getting away scot-free. There's only 2 players in this. 8 DP. These are the last 2 players, so he's going to want to live for as long as possible. He throws a smoke out just to make sure he's not so seen. As the nade comes in, but he is hiding in the back room there, so they're going to need to get the nade angle perfecto to get that in, and maybe... Yeah, he is. He's forced... Yeah, he is. He goes down 8 DP out of the game. They're going to bed with no supper, no chicken dinner.
They will be, and that's going to be pretty good for RE. They'll be able to, the Revenant boys, get themselves a bit of a refresh in loot. That said, they will lose a player to a snipe coming in from HQA.
That's a very long snipe too, as we see Method on board with them. Still 4 strong. This is probably one of the stronger finishes they've had. Monarch, former Pittsburgh Knights player from the last split.
I love that we're saying this is probably one of the stronger finishes they've had, because they have 4 people up and they're not out yet.
Yes.
It's harsh, but it is what it is. They've had some pretty rough games today.
They have had a very rough day, and I feel for them, and I hope today, or this game, can go a bit more smoothly as we see some compound crashing coming on in. The Wildcards are crashing into Rozhok. We see Team Unnamed. They are choosing not to contest the hill above Rozhok. Instead, they are choosing a compound, so they're backing on it, not shifting too far north. It is St. Legends that have taken that north, or that southern hill of Rozhok, that radio tower position. There is no one behind them. As they rotated so far late, I should say, or so late from Military Island, they know there's no team coming in from the south. One team actually is from the south. That's the last player of Blood and Loyalty.
He's going to go down surely. They've got his 5 to spun him around. That's going to be it for him. Blood and Loyalty will go out in 13th. Legends getting the elimination.
Oh, that's a big shot.
That one. Oh, goodness me. That was a quick follow-up.
That was a big shot from downtown.
Shaka's got the dinner plate here, spraying away at Team Unnamed.
Yeah, he's just peppering them. Don't know if anything will come of that. That's that M24.
Diego's already hit, I think, 2 snipes with that one so far.
Oh, don't you stay still in that window, son.
Take the shot! Okay, just a little bit too late, unfortunately, for Diego. He's hit himself a couple knocks, hasn't secured any kills with it yet, but those version 2 boys pretty lucky to not come out of that with a bullet to the brain. They will have heard the sniper firing on them now, so...
They should know where it's from too, so I don't expect them to peek that angle again. Although, they are brave. Is it bravery or is it stupidity?
Too brave. I don't know, I'm willing to give it to them. If I think they can hit the shot, then like fair enough. There's a reason that they're in this lobby and I'm sitting here with a microphone. So
that's true,
if they think it's worth taking the shot, then by all means go for it. The circle just about to move as well. We're expecting at this point a southern shift to further center on Rozhok, but we'll find out in just a second as the zone does touch the circle, and it's southwest, so actually just on the outskirts of Rozhok there.
Yeah, it is. It's between Rozhok and Watertown, so there's a bit of cover around, bit of deflate playing in as we see Team Unnamed getting peppered a little bit. They'll have to move a very far distance actually through the town of Rozhok, so they're not too pleased with the way this circle has shifted. Players that will be pleased will be Tribe. They're in there. V2 are in there. Wildcard are in there. Team Totality have found themselves in there as well. The rest have not. Method is still on the northern side of Rozhok, so they're going to have to go over the bridge now, and they're in the middle of this HQA Method gunfight going in as the car crashes. TTHH24 is on the kill feed once more.
It's a penta for him this game. 5 kills on deck.
Team
Unnamed with some real questionable driving in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, they've hit some rough ones, but it's alright. Got the license out of a cereal box.
You even need a license if you're If your job is just jump out of a plane, find a gun, and kill people, I'm not sure there's a car like a driver's license is a prerequisite for that.
I don't think so. Maybe not, but it's always handy to have.
Absolutely.
As we see, HH24 actually getting knocked down and finished, so he is not going to cause any more problems this game. As we see another compound crash come in. This is Revenant going into Method. Method on the low ground. They might be able to get some shots here. This could be some kills for the side of Method.
Certainly looks like it should be at this point. They've got one, but we'll see
more
more
than
than
that.
that. Yeah, they're already getting shot at from a lot of different teams. So just when you thought things were looking up for Method, they do get taken down here again. That said, Revenant now are going to be starting to drop some players. Yeah, there's one for Prophecy here on the Method side. Revenant with 2 players knocked. There could be another one here as well to Jacob from G6.
Oh,
the spray will
the
just
spray.
about come through as well. He's not going to get the confirm, but Method now are finally starting to fire up. He's
Yeah,
actually
he gets
found him behind the wall. That's much better for Method. Already 2 kills themselves in the game. Minimum of 12th place and still 4 players up, so things looking better.
Yeah, they are in one of the better positions too. They have rotated and they found themselves with 1 player in. They need to clean out these Revenant gamers though. They're the ones that are causing a lot of problems for this Method squad. As we see Team Unknown, they are locked down on this eastern side. They don't know where the shots are all coming from. There's too many angles for them to watch. As we see HQA getting pressured out by Tribe. Tribe took this position pretty early and they'll know exactly where these HQA gamers are located on that little ridge line. As another Revenant player gets finished out too, so Method pushing into that compound, but there are 2 players get sprayed down. This is going to be a disaster for them. 2 players finished as well, as the last player from Method, Monarch, comes in. He's getting dropped very low too. 2 Method players remain, and they get sprayed down. They line up and they take the loss, and that's another 1-point game for Method. But they end up getting a few kill points in there, but only 1 placement point. We thought they could have made the best out of that situation, but Revenant end up staying strong.
And that's essentially another 1-person team wipe. That was that 1 Revenant player, I think, who dropped all of them.
Yeah, that was
big spray downs.
some big sprays, and the Method players just lining up, unfortunately for them. A rough day, walking away with less points than they would have imagined they would have had at the end of this day. As this is on board with the HQA and Tribe fight, they're kind of posturing at each other. Nothing has come about of it just yet. Some poking onto Tribe as one of the players has dropped very low.
Tribe do have the better position though. 1 inside the warehouse, 1 up top for the aerial position. And look at this as the camera pans over. 4, 5, 6 teams in this little area of the eastern side, or western side I should say, of Sanhok here. So many teams all in their own little houses. It's going for a compound crash for SL, and they will get in here, but the problem is they're running from the guns of Team Unnamed directly into Wildcard, who are set up in this building.
They don't have an angle on them on that wall, but the nades are coming through, and they're all so low. Little ducks are going in a line, and they're dropping very low as Wildcard gets pressured out. They are only 1 strong at the moment. Team Unknown get a few players knocked out.
Oh,
now the nades come through.
Sin was going up to revive his teammate, and he got confirmed just as he got to him.
ABADDON at the bottom of this building now too. The VSS shots don't land from the man. And here's the second last player on his team. The other player is in danger too, so SL not in the best position right now. V2 are sitting atop of the castle as that B2W fight versus Tribe is going the way of Tribe so far. Expected result. But B2W still have 4 alive. 1 is knocked, as this nade could be quite good if it finds itself into that room that he's sitting in. He has to evacuate. He doesn't get knocked out completely from it.
More nades coming in now, and look
That's
at this from the man.
nade.
He's just
That's
one
Raven knocked down.
1 in each window, and now he's going to go back to the first window he got the knock from, throw another one in. 4 HEs from him, and he is putting the pressure on there a lot. Now Molotov in as well. Just denying so much pressure inside this house, or presence inside this house for the Unnamed.
He'll have to know where they are. He climbs in the window. He's climbing in the window. He's hiding. He doesn't know where they are. He does now.
Somehow. Can't find him in the smoke. He's got to find the correct room to be in.
He hasn't. He hears some footsteps now pushing around.
Oh,
He gets sprayed down though. ABADDON in the window actually takes him out. The 6th SL. They didn't manage to find what they wanted there. Team Unknown
live. Them out as well.
Unnamed. They live for another day.
That's St. Legends eliminated there, by the way. In 10th place, they're done.
It's unfortunate for them. They did have that late rotation from military base. I thought they were going to be able to make something out of that, but unfortunately they compound crashed and found themselves going home in a body bag, as V2 still have 4 strong.
Wouldn't recommend it, by the way.
Going home in a body bag?
No, not a great idea.
Not if you're claustrophobic especially. As That's a bit rough.
Well, that's where you took from that.
Yeah.
It's not even talking about being a loss or anything. It's like, oh, if you're claustrophobic, a body bag, it sucks. You're right.
It sucks.
would.
Yeah, it
It'd
would
be
suck.
terrible. Tribe going to find themselves some more damage here onto B2W. Team Totality getting pinned down behind their car here. Too many angles for them to check, and that will be them eliminated. Team Totality bowing out in 9th place. There goes B2W as well in 8th, so we're losing teams pretty rapidly here.
Tribe are up to 11 kills. They're 17 alive too, so this could be a massive chicken dinner for them if they're able to hold their position. They are only 3 strong, but the only team with more is that version 2 squad, and they know there's players in this warehouse too, so HQL could be in for a right spray down as they try and come out.
If there was a nade, that would be it. They're going to try and make a run through the smokes here on HQA.
They have managed to get one player into the side of Tribe as well.
Tribe are ready for it though. They've got players both up and downstairs waiting for the push to come in, and there you go. They're going to pick off the first one. That will be the confirm as well. HQA drop 1. They don't even want to get out of this warehouse too far. They've got a player proning, throwing grenades in from the center of those smokes. And Cross yet to make it out of the building across the way.
Tribe do have one player that is knocked out. That was HQA finding a knock via that nade, but he should be able to get revived momentarily. Nades are raining in. That snake in the grass just behind, just below that tree.
Wildcard lose
He's got
one to
another
the play
nade.
zone as well.
Ooh, this nade could be quite big if he can get us through the window. He hears a player going around with the footsteps now, but he hasn't managed to land that nade in time. He's just holding it out at the moment, being patient. Patience is a virtue. Is more kills for Revenant. He has been spotted at that tree. He's dropping very low.
Nowhere to go.
Ends up getting picked off.
They're going to get that. Maybe not. He's still behind the tree, but that said, his teammate Cross is yet to move. He's still hanging out in that warehouse. And
yeah, I think Cross has resigned himself to taking a loss, as Tribe are now only 2 strong. They got one player actually was taken out by that HQA engagement, so they are weaker. Version 2 have lost a player as well, as Revenant are stuck in the blue, trying to push in.
Little just about get through the window there. Version 2 not able to confirm them just yet. Then they're actually going to lose the player who's
It's a
up on the roof.
2v2v2 now. Tribe, Revenant, and Version 2 all have 2 players remaining.
This should
but
be a wipe for Revenant though. They're healing, and that should be easy.
Ball.
Take the res off. No, they didn't.
He did get the res off, but now the player is only on 1 HP. And does he miscount here?
There's
Surely
no one
he
in
knows
there.
that player is there.
I don't think he does. He's healing outside. That's
Oh
gonna be
no,
confirmed
he's being
down.
knocked and he's confirmed
He's
too.
calculated. That's version 2 down to just 1 player. Tribe with 2 if they
This
can
is
get the
Espinoza
res.
with 6 kills as well. I believe he had 7 in a previous game, so he's been fragging out hard
It's
today.
11 kills for them. 15 now on Tribe. Goodness me. If they can get these last couple kills,
Oh, it's
they will
just one more
equal-
remaining. It's only one more remaining for the side
Can't quite
of...
equal Age Gaming, but
No.
should be a chicken dinner for them then. It's Espinoza though. He has been fragging out this map. If anyone's going to be able to get it done, then potentially him. But these 2 players are split.
It's on
One
7.
up top, one on the or out one on the building, one out the
Ooh,
side. I
he
should
gets
say,
the
but he's gonna get
knock.
that. Now he's just got to figure out where Memo is playing over by this tree. And Espinoza is low, but now that gunfire is going to give away exactly where Memo is playing from. He's going to
Memo's
force the
pushing
issue
too.
here. Try and get in close. 3 kills for him this game. Espinoza might
Espinoza's
have
done it!
He's done it. He's found himself a 1v2 for
9
Revenants
kills
to grab
too.
the chicken dinner. 9 kills for him in the game.
That is an amazing performance from Espinoza. Left as the last man alive. He kills the player on the roof, unable to be resurrected because of the angle that he's at. You're not going to be able to climb on that roof at that stage of the game. Picks up 9 kills for the game. Our top killer in North America was on 10 before this day.
And I think that's certainly the highest single game tally that we've seen.
Oh,
Let
certainly
alone,
is.
it'll definitely get him into the top performance scale. Like, didn't he get like
He got a 6k before,
6
I'm
or
sure,
7
on
last
Miramar,
game? So
yeah.
9 is certainly the highest we've, or you and I are yet to see. I'm not sure about the entire PMCO thus far, as we're not watching all of it, but 9 in one map is certainly the highest that we've seen. We have a look back at the game that was here. The last time that we wound up on Erangel for the day, and here already you're starting to see Tribe getting some frags happening from very early in this game.
Some big important frags too on the Pittsburgh Knights, team that has been probably the team of the day up until this game. Tribe played it very well, but again they fall at the final hurdle. Pittsburgh Knights fell on the final hurdle the game before. Now it's Tribe's turn. As this was Tribe holding that compound for so long.
This was his compound crash that went so poorly. for
They
G6.
collected so many free kills at this compound. This is another one. As teams tried to rotate into them, they didn't get the memo, and Tribe managed to take out a lot of gamers.
That said, I think Tribe are going to be right behind in terms of the points. Because sure, we did have Espinoza on Revenants getting 9 kills, but the rest of his team didn't get too much, whereas Tribe, we had, what, 6, 8, 15 kills for a second place, so
I think that
pretty good from
it's
them.
going to be close between the top 3 of this Group C-D clash, actually.
Yeah, 13 kills
Knights.
for Revenant, 15 for Tribe, and the Knights obviously got none in that game because they went out in 16th place, but they had a good couple previous games, so I think, yeah, the final leaderboard will be quite close.
This is Method's compound crash failed up. We see the line up there. Unfortunately for Method and GRUNTo, they both had pretty woeful days play, but there is still hope, as there is still 8 games remaining for these teams after today. This is Espinoza clutching up in the final moments, using that M4 to precision.
The other thing is,
yes.
sorry, not to try
No,
to talk
go
about
for
Espinosa,
it. Go for
but with Method and those teams who are currently in the bottom 16, you realistically only need one good game, right? Like, you want more than that, but given how many teams that we're having who are, it's not the same teams every time, usually.
Yep.
Method have had some rough games, but overall, we're not seeing a trend of it's always the same team in 16th, it's always the same team in 15th, whatever, right?
Correct.
So there's constantly a couple different teams that are shuffled through only getting 1 point per game. So if you can have one game where you get yourself 20, 25, something like that, then all of a sudden you might just move yourself out of that bottom 8, because remember, it's bottom 8 out of 32 teams, not out of 16. Either way, this is the scoreboard for the game we just finished. 13 kills for Revenants and a chicken dinner. 15 for Tribe in their second place. Version 2 with 9, so some pretty high frags from the top 3.
It was a pretty high fragging game indeed. 15 for Tribe, that's a big number. Those top 3 really stepped up this game. Version 2, they've collected some nice points off this one. ABADDON, who had been previously quiet, they've picked up a few. The Unnamed, who's been pretty consistent top 5, top 6 throughout the day. They've picked up another top 6 finish and netted themselves into the double-digit points. As we're going to flip over and see the second half of the team sheet soon enough. Wildcard at the bottom, only 1 kill but 6 placement points. They ended up in that Sanhok fight for quite a while.
There we go, Pittsburgh Knights, 1 point. It's unfortunate for them. They are one of our teams who's grabbed a chicken dinner so far tonight, so it's not like this is going to majorly impact them, but it's nowhere near as many points as they could have gotten. I think they won't be too happy with that. Method in 11th with 3 kills, which I believe might be their first 3 kills of the night.
Maybe they got one on them first, Erangel. No, they didn't, because they crashed and it burned. It was woeful.
Well, either way, here we are, 94 points still for Cloud9, so everything unchanged in the top 2. However, Revenants have managed to sneak in over Tempo Storm just about. This is the entirety of the North American region, this leaderboard. Revenants with a double chicken dinner. I forgot they run one earlier.
Yeah, they definitely got a double chicken dinner day, and they also got a second place, I believe, or a third place in the mix there. So that's a pretty stacked top half of the leaderboard. We see a lot of teams from this C and D area, just because it was so close. There were so many teams getting chicken dinners, getting higher placements as well. We have Totality, Tribe, Pittsburgh Knights, Unnamed, and Revenants all featuring today. Of course, no one could catch the Kings at the moment. Cloud9, 34 kills in a day. You see how big that is.
The standout for me, though, is how well the Unnamed are doing, given that the top 4 teams above them have either 1 or 2 chicken dinners. The Unnamed weren't able to take a game for themselves, but they have 39 placement points, 31 kills. So they're out fragging the teams in 3rd and 4th, and they were having some consistently good placements, ending up only 1 point behind Tempo Storm.
That's a good place to be heading into the next round of group play. Space Station Gaming obviously dropped out of the top 8 as they weren't able to secure enough points to stay up with the leaders. 36 points, they'll be looking for a lot more than that. But this is, see, the bottom end of the bucket. Blood and Loyalty managed to salvage themselves a little bit of pride, getting 27 points for the day. But Method, that right,
3 kills, that was it.
Only 3
Although
kills.
GRUNTo, 1.
Yep.
They did get some placement points at least, but only 1 kill. Here's our kill leaders, of course.
Espinoza.
Espinoza has come flying through, what, 9 kills in the last game? Yeah, 9 kills in the last game. And I think his might have got 6 or 7 in the game before that. So pretty much all of this comes in
last
2 games, essentially. The Unnamed, Ravens up there as well. We just talked about how hard they've been fragging. HH24 was the MVP of the final fight of Team Totality's win as well. And of course, Tempo still with some players up there. So it's actually mostly Group C and D teams who are now who are dominating that kill board.
The top 3 killers or fraggers, all from Group C and D, all we saw in action today, which was fantastic. We had an amazing day's play of PUBG Mobile, but that will be it for us today. Thank you for joining us. You can catch us tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you for joining.